Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
The Brewing Network Sunday Session is brought to you by the badasses at More Beer. Visit them at morebeer.com.
If you really want to be one of the best brewers there is,
I stopped dressing all in plastic.
You better be brewing 5 to 6 times a week.
A beer, every beer, is made with love, and it begs to be appreciated.
I need something to kill the salmonella I'm kind of worried about in the eggs.
Do you find that that the hops kind of clash with the chicken embryo you put in there? Or
I might sleep here tonight.
It's a California king. There's plenty of room for both of us, Beavis.
How many of the brewers over there have seen your ass?
That's it. Someone's getting cut tonight.
All I have to say is, hey, McDowell, how you doing?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Everyone, welcome to another fine edition of The Session. The Sunday session, that's the Monday session. Sorry, Tasty, I don't have everything up and running right now. Hold on. Are you talking?
Well, I will be.
Nice work. Eventually. We don't know yet.
How long has it been the Monday session? I'd say.
How long had it been since you talked on the session for the first break?
No, we've been doing the Monday thing for like a couple years, right?
Well, he did it at the garage a couple times, I think.
That's true.
Yeah, we would do that when there was a reason to, like we were at a festival or something on Sunday.
Yeah, I dig on the Monday, the whole Monday thing, man. Some people don't like it, but
it's certainly easy for us and be nice to us, right? Come on,
right? We need it. People are frankly quite mean to Beardy, and I for one am not going to stand for it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, once I find out who these people are,
shut the fuck up, Beardy.
There it is.
See?
Yeah. Where's that guy?
God, we should record Candy doing that drop. I feel like you'd feel right at home then.
Oh, yeah.
Are you still using that as your ringtone, Beardy?
Whenever it's not on vibrate, I hear it.
So yes.
So yes,
okay,
yeah.
Good.
Okay, but usually it's on vibrate. So whenever I forget
Beardy.
With Warren, you get specific answers that you never would have thought that you had to specify that comment. Like I would never have had to imagine that you would have to specify anything really, but especially that question.
Well, the only time you get a yes or no answer is when you're looking for something specific. Like, Beardy, what time are you coming over? Yeah.
Right. Perfect.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Yeah, sure I am.
Didn't we fire Beardy?
Yes.
We need to hire Beardy first, apparently.
The problem with setting it to vibrate most of the time is that I forget that it's my ringtone, so it happens when it shouldn't. Like, I'm out in public, there's like a family walking next to me, and all of a sudden my phone just yells.
Fuck you too, Beardy.
Yeah, that.
Your phone's just yelling at you.
Right, just yelling F words in a park.
We can bleep it for you and make it a little more family friendly.
Yeah, it made my mom blush too. She's not a very swear-friendly person.
Swear-friendly?
Potty mouth. She doesn't like potty mouths. And so she kind of blushed a little bit one time when it went off.
We should use that for a tagline for the show. The Brewing Network Monday session. Swear-friendly. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a good show for you guys tonight. We have our guest homebrew / musician extraordinaire, Kyle Hollingsworth. He is the keyboardist from the String Cheese Incident and obviously the Kyle Hollingsworth Band. But what he does, he's a home brewer, just like us, obviously, and he does collaboration beers with a couple really well-known and well-respected breweries. We have Cigar City on the list. Scott, you're saying Boulder Beer, right?
Boulder, Stone.
And Stone, yeah, most recently the Stone collab.
Breckenridge.
He's like our own Keller. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not a douche.
Right,
So.
and he has discernible
His beer doesn't
talent
suck?
He's like in the musical realm. Yeah.
Our own Hanson brother.
That's right. What is it about the Mikkeller beers, man? They all taste like glue to me.
Or oxidation.
Maybe it's the glue that they put in them.
Whatever.
It gets you high.
Yeah.
We brew with as ingredient, it's ground up horse bones. It's
Unique
very
to
good
Europe
for you.
brew.
Yeah, you never have like it for America.
I calls this beer Elmer's.
Anyway, I'm pretty excited about this. I like it when we can talk to people who brew beer that aren't in the beer industry. They seem a little less self-serving, I think, and I think this is gonna be really fun. It's gonna be a great interview. So make sure to jump in the chat and get Bev your questions if you can. If don't do the Java update, that whole thing.
And Kyle's a rad dude. Just aside from the music and the beer stuff, he's just really cool. He's super cool to us. He had Justin and I come out, although Justin couldn't make it, but so I took his place and brought my girlfriend. We went to the String Cheese concert. My girlfriend. We don't do that other word, dude.
Alexa doesn't know about his girlfriend.
Yeah, I guarantee you she does that word.
No, she doesn't.
I guarantee it.
No, she really doesn't. We're not fans. We decided this after we got engaged. She actually brought it up. She was like, "That's such a douchey word, isn't it?" All we can hear is Elaine from Seinfeld. Yeah. Fiancé. It's just such a pretentious douchey word.
French is a douchey language.
It really is.
Yeah, I don't use it either. But I introduced Taryn to someone at a wedding last night. First of all, who gets married on a Sunday night? And I go, "This is my girlfriend, Taryn." She goes, "I'm not your girlfriend." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
No.
I mean, she's kidding, but put me on the spot. Anyway, you guys went to their show.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so but he was super good to us, and we did a little green room action, and backstage he had the collaboration beer he did with Stone, Collective Distortion, pouring down in the bowels of the Fox Theater in Oakland.
Nice.
So and String Cheese Incident, man, do they put on a good show?
Yeah.
Oh baby,
big fan.
I am now.
You weren't before?
No, I always have. I mean, they're a great jam band. I mean, if you're going to the, you got your microbus and you're heading to the Grateful Dead concert, and you're going to have enough Grateful Dead at the concert. So on the way there and on the way back in the car, rock some String Cheese Incident.
Yeah, why not, man? Yeah. Okay, well that's good. I've heard some of their stuff before. I'm not unfamiliar with the band, but jam band, man, you got to be you have to be into music heavily, I think, to like jam band stuff, right? I mean,
did you say acid? You got to be heavily into acid.
On acid, but into because I mean I like music, but sometimes I don't know. Maybe it's the iPod shuffle in me where I need to change it up all the time.
Yeah, well, and to String Cheese Incident's credit, they tend not to, or at least that my experience at that concert was that it wasn't like Fish, where it was like 27-minute sort of circular jams.
That's what I think of.
I do
think
too,
of it,
and maybe they dabble in that, or maybe more than dabble. But I remember it being not that way. There were more concise sort of tracks, 5-6 minute tracks, and in fact, if you listen to their albums, they're more just 5-6 minute songs.
See, and I like that. I think they're more kind of bluesy jazz than like hippie rock.
Definitely, a lot of bluegrass,
which I really appreciate. That that's a talent in and of itself.
Yeah, and the beer was good. That's that collab what he did with
that double IPA or whatever with some spices.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think we're going to have Mitch Steele join us for that as well, and so he'll give his 2 cents.
That's awesome, man. That'll be great. Mitch is always a good time, and rap with Kyle a little bit about brewing and collaborating because I want to get his perspective on that's what he does for a living. Essentially, he collaborates with people.
Yep.
In music, and I'm sure it translates more or less over to brewing, but what do I know? I don't collaborate with anybody.
Do you think he plays music to his fermenters, to coax the beer along on its journey?
Well,
maybe.
Most breweries do.
I wonder if in
recorded.
Really?
I noticed that on Brew Day, it looks like at Stone, they almost had like a soundstage setup. I mean,
I think after they brewed, they went and jammed.
Really?
And they jammed right there in the brewery.
Awesome.
I have to ask those guys about that.
We have some songs that they've done for that, right? I think those are the songs.
Yeah, from Kyle's latest solo album.
Yeah, but recorded in the breweries, right?
I wasn't clear on that. I don't know where it was recorded, but they're called like hop tracks, and we'll get the details from Kyle.
I would think that would be an awful place to record. Yeah, with all the hard surfaces.
Yeah, well, maybe it's just into the board, whatever that means. That's a thing, right? A music thing.
It might just be a style.
There you go.
I was wondering why that track was so echoey.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds great.
It's a thing.
In other news, BNA 10 is coming up. So if you're going to be at NHC and you haven't got your tickets now, be sure to grab some at bna10.com. I don't think Four Friends and Sam are playing, but Terrence texted me. He's like, email me the songs that you want to play at BNA 10. And like, why? We don't have enough time to practice. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a guest appearance of some sort of musical interlude or whatever. Hold on.
Oh, you need a band?
Yes. Are you trying to say things, Beverly?
No, I mean, I may say something, so I'm just preparing myself.
Jesus. What is it about everyone preparing? Prepare to fire. Fire! Anyway.
That was a nice nap she had.
Right.
Is that really what they're called, Four Friends and Sam?
That's what we're called.
That's kind of mean.
You just... welcome to 2 years ago when we came up with that name.
I don't listen when you talk.
Yeah. That was
In a related story, you're a douche.
Yeah,
well,
true.
Sam gets mentioned. Isn't that like top billing when you're talking about band names?
Sounds like he's the band leader to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did good. Four Friends and Sam.
Whatever.
Oh, poor Sam. How is Sam? He hasn't been in a while.
Sam is fine. Sam has been working out of town for the last 2 weeks.
You know what we should have done?
So I think he's really enjoying life.
He's in jail.
Right.
So he's getting a restful sleep.
Right.
Not being hounded.
The happiest he's ever been.
I don't... Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What we should have done is we should have set up like dueling keyboards with Sam and Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
See how that would have worked.
But Sam's a one-trick pony. All he has is jump.
That's all he needs, though.
I guess
You underestimate Sam. He's actually a pretty stellar musician.
Really?
He's also got some Journey songs in his library.
If Kyle ever comes to town, we should have a jam session with Four Friends and Sam.
Yeah. That's happening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll just do the 3 power chords and that I know, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
well, it's going to be great when you're voted the winner. Like Kyle was good, but you know who was really good?
Yeah, that BAC progression is amazing. Keep up with the Brewing Network on that social media thing. Find us on Facebook and Twitter, and we're on Instagram, I think, and we're also in your email, so you can sign up, I think, on the website probably for our email list and get on that and get all the details, all that kind of stuff. Become a donor. You can become a supporter of the Brewing Network and keep us on the radio, which I don't know why you would want to do that. But, you do get advanced information on the special events that we have. So the folks who have been donating to us since last month, they got advance notice of the BNA 10 tickets, so they were first to peep those VIP tickets and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to be a part of that,
there's a drawing that may or may not happen where you could win something each month too if you're a donor.
That's true.
It happens.
That's true.
No.
For more beer, you're entered into a drawing to win a more beer $100 gift certificate.
$100
gift certificate, I believe.
That's a couple homebrew kits. That's not even just like a fitting.
That's pretty good, man. Yeah. Especially for giving us $2 a month or whatever, just to hang out.
Yeah. You could donate for 4 years and still be ahead if you just won once.
That's not bad, man. Okay, let's do some feedback. What do you think?
Before we do that, yes. I want to just make an announcement that we are looking for photographs of past Brewing Network events, Brewing Network anniversary parties. If you have any gems, please send them to photos@thebrewingnetwork.com. We are trying to compile some stuff for our 10th anniversary party.
And if they happen to be old pictures of Bevo, please send them to scott@thebrewingnetwork.com, because if you send them to photos, they're going to get deleted, I suspect.
That's creepy. Don't do that.
Oh, you know it's true.
Also, if you have any Brewing Network tattoos, we want pictures of those, too.
We do?
Sure.
Okay. Sounds great, Beverly. Thank you for that important announcement.
I do what I can.
Okay, our first piece of feedback comes from Jeff. He says, "Hello, Brewing Network. In response to the guy who is suing Miller Coors, you should look at what is going on in the craft spirits industry." So this is that guy, I'm sure everyone remembers, that suing Miller Coors because he says that they're miseling everybody, that Blue Moon is not really a craft brewery.
What?
Yeah. You know that?
I'm going to file class action. I'm going to join this guy.
Join this class action, man. He says large and small distilleries are being sued for the exact same reason: misrepresentation of the word craft, handmade, and so on. The larger distilleries are starting to use the terms as they already see what is happening in the craft beer industry. So companies like Maker's Mark and Tito's Vodka, are being sued for that. Smaller distilleries are being sued because they are buying products on the bulk market and labeling them as their own craft and distilled products. Most types of aged spirits are traded on the open market in bulk, so if I were to start a craft distillery, he could buy his spirits from someone else for like $1 a liter, which will get you drunk pretty fast.
What is Tito's vodka?
Apparently it's...
I've heard of it
weird
before.
one.
It's a pretty popular vodka, apparently.
Huh.
Tito, man.
Is there a Sergei's tequila?
It might be. If not, that's an open market for you.
Yeah.
Right there.
All right.
He can repackage it and label them as his own, put a craft price of $30 per 750. Wouldn't you say I was trying to mislead the customer as to what they were buying? First of all, what's a craft price?
Higher, probably.
Premium.
Yeah, but so, I mean, I can buy a 6-pack of 805 at the market for $8 a 6-pack. Or I can buy a 6-pack of an unnamed IPA for $19. Show me a craft price.
Yeah.
I mean, anything over what Budweiser would charge for a 6-pack is now a craft price? Get out of town.
Well, he might be saying that like Coors Light is cheaper than Blue Moon.
Sure.
So that's the craft price. Like it's still Coors.
Right.
But the craft price is that Blue Moon's more expensive than...
Sure. So, I think that whenever I go in to buy a car, I should be charged the lowest price for the car. It doesn't matter if I get more flavors or more hand-sewn leather.
Well, you don't
or
appreciate craft automobiles.
Apparently I don't, man. He's like, in a beer way, how about if Miller Coors sold on the open market that you could buy in a tanker, bring to your brewery, only to have a bottling line in your facility, package under craft, blah, blah, blah. Aren't you misling the consumer? It actually says misling. It's easier to discount in brewing when you're paying $10 a 6-pack normally. However, when I'm paying $30 for a supposedly craft product that normally goes for $20, then yeah, I'd be pretty pissed. Just some food. I don't care.
What is his position on the lawsuit? I don't quite
he agrees with it because he's saying he's just trying to compare it to another alcohol.
So I see. So in other words, they're filing it in both industries, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
That it's truly misleading, which I don't. Right. I mean, I don't know. I disagree. If you make a product and you find a cheaper way to make it, and you still charge the same end price, are you misleading your customers? No, because you use the word craft or handmade. Yes, these things are made by hand. There's machines that are involved in some parts of it, but for the most part, people are working. It doesn't matter if you're working brewing Blue Moon or if you're brewing Woodford Reserve. It doesn't matter. You're still using your hands. Handmade isn't a law. It's not a legal definition of anything.
Well, and who's it hurting?
Well, it's not legal, but it's a standard term that we use for a group of beers that are more flavorful than the macros, right? I mean,
and
they're $2 more a 6-pack.
And with my limited experience, I think that it's easier for distilleries to kind of hide behind the labeling than it is for breweries, because they can just say like an address. I don't know that they have to actually list a company name. So
I don't know.
There's
where it's produced. They could buy the ethanol from Turkey,
right,
and blend it in California and call it California.
Yeah, I've heard that there's like 10 distilleries, and this is just pulling numbers out of my ass, but like 10 distilleries in Kentucky, but there's hundreds of brands.
Yeah.
And they're not just like from 10
like
companies.
This guy. So you'll get a guy. So like I think he's trying to make the analogy if Coors decided to sell Coors Banquet on the open market, then you could buy it and call it, Fog Light, water waster or whatever you want to call it.
And then you don't have to tell the public. You can just sell it as whatever you want to call it.
But if I knew that someone else made it for you and put on, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It's the same thing that happens with contract brewing. Same things with whatever.
Yeah, it's not going to stop people from buying Maker's Mark.
It shouldn't, because
or Buffalo Trace or whatever.
The thing about craft beer is, does it taste good? Drink it. The thing about beer in general, if it tastes good, drink it. If it tastes good to you, it doesn't matter who makes it. Who cares? Do you like it? Why are we so geared to not like things that are made at a large volume? I don't understand.
Well, it's because they have that Know Your Brewer bumper sticker, and so I saw it.
That's true.
Now I just got to know.
Well, Warren, I wish I could get to know you.
Yeah, so do I.
This is from Intab in the forum. He says, first I want to say I love the West Coast style IPA, double IPA, but for fuck's sake, every East Coast style IPA I've ever heard someone mention is either local to themselves only or a very poor example of the style. Okay, I agree. And then this is the best part about his email. He goes, try Maine Beer Company, Lunch IPA, or Maine Beer Company, another one, Victory Dirt Wolf, or Union Brewing. So he goes on to lists
some of his
local
right.
that I've never heard of a Maine or Union Brewery Company. I'm sure they're great, or Great Lakes Chill Wave.
This seems to be the common response here. Like, right. You guys you didn't try the right beers. You need to try this one that I like.
Yeah. This is my favorite, but stop listening to people who only talk about their local beers. Anyway, he says they truly match up with any IPA you'll find on the West Coast as long as they're fresh. Well, that
goes for West Coast ones too.
Right.
I don't know if that's true.
By the way, I'm from West Virginia, which is the same state as Sarah 36C. Whoever remembers that woman.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard from her in a long time.
Yeah, and he tells us all to collectively suck a dick. So that's cool. This is from Sean. He says, "Viva Nicole." The Brewing Network, God love it, is an entire organization based on getting drunk and being loud and stupid. Well, sort of. I think it was based on information, and it just devolved to that. Right. When Nicole is drunk and loud and smart, I think that should be accepted too. Nicole, please come back to the session and show those douchebags how it's done. Nicole, 2016. So he wants her to come back, but not until 2016.
Right. Is that when he wants her to come back?
I think he's being deployed to Iraq in 2016 and knows that he won't be around. Anyway.
So he won't have to listen to her.
Right,
it's fine if she's on, because I won't be here.
Yeah, I'm not going to be around.
Tom says, after seeing Nate speak at NHC last year and was only reinforced by the segment on last week's session, Nate needs his own show. The guy is full of knowledge and appears to have a natural gift for speaking on the radio and in public. That segment was great, excluding everything that Doc spoke, obviously. And I'm sure he can replicate that into a monthly 1-hour show. Give him a sidekick, definitely not Doc, and you've got another new hit show like the Sour Hour. You put that in a bottle and you got something sweeter than Yoo-Hoo. I don't know, understand? Suck at JP. Yeah, I agree. Nate's way too busy, though, to do anything like that.
He's got the... what is the
and he doesn't
job?
Live close.
Yeah, and he doesn't live here.
Full-time jobs.
Yeah.
I originally wanted him for Dr. Homebrew, and we went back and forth for months, and he's like, dude, I can't do this.
As a co-host?
Yeah.
Oh, just because time, right?
Yeah, he's just too busy. And
we want him here more, too. I would love if he was on every session.
Yeah,
he just can't do it.
Yeah. So, but Tom, thanks for the suggestion. Although, show suggestions go to Scott. BrewingNetwork.com. This is from Jim O.C. in Long Island. He says, what's up, Brewcaster Masters? I've been listening since 2013. I started after I made my first undrinkable batch of Mr. Beer, which alludes to the fact that he probably made more than one. And I was looking for info to improve. Since that day, I have won a first-place prize for my cherry wheat in a local competition. That's good news. Yeah. He says, thank yous. He says, so a little story. I'm sitting in a Mexican restaurant with my wife, and a Mexican folk song is being played. He goes, wait, I know this song, but from where? After obsessively playing the chorus in my head for the next hour and a half, it came to me, la, 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 JP's an asshole. You know that?
Oh.
Yeah.
You heard that in a restaurant?
La, la, la. Well, it's a Mexican song.
Oh, so here's the original.
Thank you.
Oh, you mean he didn't create that?
Oh,
really?
Jesus Christ.
No, I really didn't know.
Everyone swung around to stare at Bevo.
You all looked at me like I was a total retard thing. No, I honestly had no idea.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I swear.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
You never watched
Okay, there's a little too much judgment happening right now. I'm going to have to ask you guys to take it down a notch.
We're being very objective. Not subjective at all.
Right.
You never heard the song like in your life before?
No, I've heard this song. I haven't heard the Mexican version.
Now you're hearing it.
Song every week.
Yeah, I know this one.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a whole Mexican thing.
Well, it's a whole Mexican thing.
It's Spanish.
A couple Mexicans heard this song, and then they actually made it a couple hundred years ago.
Well, Sugar Valley Brewers should sue.
They came back and sue the poor Mexican villagers from 200 years ago.
Shut up, Bevo. You didn't know that your opinion of Sugar Valley could get any lower, but now you realize he's not even original.
Yeah.
Now he's just...
I know, he plagiarized.
He steals songs.
Yeah. Well, here we go. He says, now I want that song for my playlist to brew. What's the name of that song? What's the original name of that song?
Cantano Llore? What is that called?
Don't ask me.
I don't know.
I know how to sing it, but I don't know the name of it. I'll try and look it up here.
All right. He says, thanks for the entertainment knowledge, and in some cases, time I will never get back. Oh, you're welcome. This next one is from Anthony. He says, I have sour beer farts. Toodles. I thought that was important feedback. And then last but certainly least, this is from Scott, Steve, and Lance, who may or may not be here. He says, I'm currently sitting at the 21st Amendment with two friends. We flew in from Maine and New York. I don't know how you fly in from both, but, hey, kudos to you. He says, we got beef. Sean O'Sullivan did not personally greet us at the door with a can of Monk's Blood. We didn't even get a swift kick in the ass. But we forgot to mention JP. Let's face it, he's forgettable. Well, thanks. At any rate, it was false advertisement, he's claiming. With any luck, you'll read this within the next 24 hours and read it on tomorrow's show, and we will be drinking at the Hop Grenade, listening to you read our terribly worded email. We have pretty much planned an entire week around BN commercials and BN guests. Hope to see you guys there. Keep up the great work, and I don't want to say it, but I gotta suck at JP. Scott, Steve, and Lance.
Are they here?
The three amigos.
Are they there? Yeah, they're there. He's got his hand raised out there.
There he does.
What's up, dude? Cheers. Hey, the song is called Celito Lindo.
Of course it is.
So there you go.
Can I also just say that JP's fiance just texted me and said that she did not know that was an original song either.
Wow, she's admitting it.
Show me that, because I can't. Well, I'm not going to say I'm not surprised.
I'm still more disappointed in you, Bevo.
Is that an insult to Taryn?
Taryn's blonde. She has an excuse.
Right.
And she's sheltered.
She hasn't seen Star Wars.
But she has now. She went to college in L.A., so I feel like she's heard the song before. She just doesn't pay attention to it because it wasn't on the OC or Roswell. So
right.
She heard it.
Taryn and I are very similar in that respect.
You went to UCLA?
I didn't go to UCLA, but I did watch a lot of the OC and Roswell.
Of course you did. Okay, we're going to take a break.
Did we plug Amazon? What happened to that?
No, we didn't plug it. I don't. When I do the shows, I don't get any Jay doesn't give me his notes, so I just have to make it up on my own. I don't have a Twitter game because I have to run the show.
I guess you're there, yeah.
Well.
So let's do Twitter. Amazon of the week.
Scott, first off, why we're doing it is because you can support the BN,
Thank you
all
very
the
much.
shows on this network, by shopping on Amazon.
Yes, you can.
Go to our homepage and click on the link and then do all your shopping as normal. Amazon gives us a little cut, and nothing changes for you.
Hey, Scott, do we have an Amazon product of the week?
We sure do, JP.
Wow, I'm so awesome.
Thanks
for bringing it up.
Seamless.
It's perfect because we were discussing this before the show. Homeland Season 1.
Oh, yeah.
Someone got it for $19.99. We got $1 from that. And it's a great opportunity to plug Homeland, a fantastic show if you are not watching it.
Yes, I agree. Claire Danes plays the lead, and she has a wide range of facial expressions.
No, she doesn't. She makes the same ugly face cry.
From crying,
now we're not going to get Homeland to sponsor, Bevo.
Crying to laughing uncontrollably.
Kristen Stewart could really take a pay. Oh no, they both have one expression.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, Carrie Matheson isn't it? I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah,
and actually,
she has two expressions.
The reason it came up before the show is JP was listening to some atonal jazz.
Mm-hmm.
He came on, and I was blasting some Kyle Hollingsworth.
Yeah,
and he came in and immediately threw on his XM satellite radio atonal jazz station.
That's right.
And I went, "Ooh, Carrie, how's it going, baby?"
I needed some dry red wine and a candle. I was some methadone, I guess, or I don't know, whatever she's addicted to.
Well, whoever bought that, thanks for buying it through our link, and enjoy.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me do the thing here. I'm pushing buttons right now in case you guys want to know where to do. All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. We're going to be speaking with Kyle Hollingsworth and apparently Mitch Steele as well. Stay with us. It'll be a really good time.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of the buzz, the forum, the learning center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support, like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters, this is Jamil Zainashev, and I love a bold, hoppy beer, one that spits resin in your face and makes you cry uncle. There are a lot of great hoppy beers out there, but at Heretic, we want to make something as bold, dank, and resiny as possible. We use hops at every chance we get, including multiple dry hop additions. The result is Heretic Evil Cousin. This light golden, 8% Imperial IPA has an easy malt character that helps take the edge off the massive bittering, but it takes a back seat to the in-your-face hop character. We make sure this beer finishes dry so the hops can jump out and slam you in the taste buds. If you can't get enough hoppy goodness, Evil Cousin is your cup of tea. Cheers.
Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. We're about to jump online with Kyle here. Let me pull this down. What are we listening to, Scott?
Actually, yeah, leave it up, will you?
Yeah. Was that an incident of string cheese?
Indeed it was. This is from their 2014 album, and this is one of the songs Kyle wrote. I'm leaving it as a permanent rejoiner.
I think you should.
It's a good one.
We can throw some VO over it. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad, man. I do dig it. It does sound, it's very jazzy.
Right?
And I like that. The older I get, the I'm into more like instrumental jazz. You know, I used to be all about that Delta blues, man, with just that one guy and the guitar and maybe a drum kit. But I don't know. I'm digging on the guitar now.
The one guitar guy with like the harmonica around his neck. That guy.
No, that's Bob Dylan.
Oh,
and yeah, he can go electric in a pool of water for all I care.
All right, where's Kyle at?
All right, we're gonna get Kyle here. Let me see if I can do this right. Kyle, are you with us?
I'm here.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome. How you doing, man?
Good. It's JP and Scott, right?
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, we also have Tasty over here. He's on his phone.
He is over here.
Paying attention at all.
He's texting that he's very excited that Kyle's on with us.
I'm trying to get the people to listen.
Yeah, he's deaf, so he texts in, and it's a whole thing. And then we have Warren.
Hi.
A.K.A. Beardy.
A.K.A. Beardy.
Kyle, I hope you're not too wildly disappointed that Justin isn't here. He got offered front row tickets and backstage passes to U2 tonight.
Nice.
And
That's
so he
great.
went, I love Kyle, and I'm sad that I missed him at GABF, and I'm going to miss him again, and I'll see you guys later. And I was like, all right.
Well, that's totally understandable, completely understandable.
You do the same thing, right? Are you a U2 guy?
Yes, absolutely. I would definitely go see U2 if I got a chance.
There you go.
I saw Stevie Wonder about a month and a half ago.
Oh.
So that was epic.
Oh,
Super great.
That sounds great, man. Yeah, I heard U2, I think, just kicked off their tour or something like that, and then I read some article about how the Edge fell off the edge. He fell off of himself, and I'm like, well, that's really funny. But it sounds like he has a good sense of humor about it, because from what I understood, he was like laughing about, I mean, what are you going to do? Get real mad because you forgot where the edge of the stage is?
Yeah, you really can't do much about that. You got to just be professional.
Yeah, well, I suppose you don't have that problem. You're not like walking around with a keytar.
Kyle's genius. He's behind his keyboards. He's not breaking any ankles anytime soon.
I like the idea of the keytar, though. I thought about doing that at some point in my rig.
I think you should.
Just don't. No.
Bevo's not a good.
Yeah,
My
so
husband may or may not have made that happen once. It's always a bad choice. Just say no.
That's Beverly, our call screener, and her husband Sam is actually a quite exquisite musician, if I could use that phrase. He's very, very good, and he's one. You know what? He actually pisses me off, and I don't know if you're like this too, but when he's like playing a groove and just kind of he's like the most deadpan person. You think he was actually in pain. He hates it. He doesn't. He has no expression. He couldn't be bothered. But he's just doing this intricate finger work, and it makes me mad because I'm trying to play the bass and I have my 2.5 chords, and I'm like my tongue is sticking out and I'm biting my lip trying to concentrate, and so he's totally frustrating. But he has a keytar.
No, he has a keyboard that he fashioned into a guitar.
It's just a strap.
He built a strap. It's a whole hot mess.
Yeah.
Do you have to be aware, Kyle, of your facial expressions? Like, do you think about it when you're on stage?
I've been known to make some facial expressions for sure. I don't do it on purpose. It kind of just happens.
It happens, right?
Yes. I didn't really plan on it, but yes.
Like drummers have a facial expression. They're kind of, I don't know, their eyes are wide, right? We have a few drummer friends, and then guitarists are kind of like, this is the pain with the high notes, and
right.
I guess keyboardists are just cool and collected.
I guess so. Yeah. So no injuries either. You ever injured yourself on stage?
I've gotten some bloody fingers here and there from I probably lots of different types of different weights of keyboard from the Hammond B3 to the Fender Rhodes, and jumping back and forth sometimes it gets a little dangerous, but it's fine. Sometimes I've been known to actually jump onto my B3 during the show, and which is completely unmusical, but kind of it looks kind of cool.
The spirit moves you, and you just
yeah, exactly.
You just go, man.
I gotta play from up here now.
Yeah, right.
I wonder if it's different for like lead singers, right? Because they have to fill time during solos. I saw a band once at I don't know, someplace in the city, and the guy starts climbing up on the big stacks on the side of the stage and just drinking a bottle of wine. I'm like, what is going on? Was it planned? And I don't know. Is that stuff seems very spontaneous to me? But as a lead, you I don't know. You got to do something. You can't just stand there and just watch your keyboard. Just kind of go for it.
As a part of his writer, I need a bottle of wine in the rafters. So I can climb up there.
Too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wonder,
man.
is there less of a planning aspect for a maybe, I don't know, do you call yourself a jam band?
Yes, I would say we're a jam band if you had to use that term. Yes, yeah, sure.
You think there's more, maybe less planning that goes on? Like how much of it is spontaneous?
A lot of it, it's kind of the way I approach brewing too, actually. But taking those chances, on stage for us is part of what the excitement is. Never knowing exactly how the brew is going to come out by the different yeast strain you put in, or if you're on stage making a set list, you're not quite sure how the jam's going to work out. And sometimes it works out great, and sometimes it's like the worst beer you've ever made. But you're living in that moment, and that's kind of what makes it exciting, or at least in the improvisation world.
But I think you guys have been doing it, and probably yourself for obviously quite a longer time. Just kind of jamming, and how to get yourself out of a hole. I would imagine, right? Like I can't imagine there's say I would just stop playing. I'd be like, I don't know where to go, guys. I can't. I'm done. And then you circle back maybe and start over. But
how do you do? how do you, when you guys brew? I mean, how do you approach that? You got to power through to some degree. You know, you take your talents and your experience and you just kind of got to keep going. But right now, I'm stuck in the middle of a fermentation, and it's not going anywhere. I'm like, what do I do? So I think I'm going to repitch later tonight and see what happens. Sorry, I'm jumping right into beer.
No, you're doing our job.
I don't have thousands of people looking at you when you dump a batch all of the time.
Yeah, you're right. Good point.
But he has millions of yeast.
That's true. I guess there are millions.
Sensing his powers.
Where are we going? Oh, this is like a drain.
What's stuck right now? What's the beer?
It's an IPA, a single hop. There's a name for that, like a smash beer or something. But a single hop, single malt. I forget exactly what my malts were, but it's a Galaxy. It's a Galaxy. And we split that. I had this cool 10-gallon system. It's called Ruby Street. It was kind of like a full-on, all the cool valves. You get the turn and everything.
Yeah.
So we roll it back and forth between my friend's house and my house, and he put in a pretty traditional yeast here, and I put in this British yeast that is foaming up on the top. We're really acting strange, and the temperature's being kind of wacky. And for me, I go by the relax, have a homebrew style, and it needs to do its thing. You know, I put all the ingredients together and put you in a room, and then you do your thing, and then I drink you later. And then but right now it's kind of being like, well, I need special attention. I'm like, come on, you know. So I think there's a little bit of me kind of needing to dig in deeper. But anyway, so that's where I am right now. It's just going to be a hoppy pale, I think, in the end.
How long have you been homebrewing?
A while. Since I was like 18 or 19, so probably 25 years or so.
Oh, wow.
And I haven't really gotten much better. It's, the early days, it was the late 80s, early 90s or something. It was, the homebrew shops were kind of far, a few in between.
Yeah.
There's one in, I grew up in Baltimore.
Okay.
There was one in Ellicott City, and I would drive there, and it was only pretty much the kits, only malts.
Right.
And so then you had all the bottles lined up in your mom's kitchen, and you had to get the stipend. They put up, it was such a nightmare and a sticky mess all over the place. But it has actually gotten a lot better. So I think my technique actually has gotten better since working with the all grain system, and then also I'm getting, I don't know, just being more mature and taking the right steps to make it taste good.
Yeah, over time you figure out what you got to pay attention to and what you don't.
Did your mom know what you were making? Or
Yeah,
is this just malt soda?
Were your parents cool with you brewing at 19 or 18 or whatever?
Exactly. It was, what was the purpose? Early on, I think I was attracted to this process, but there was into the creativity and the ability to kind of take these elements and make something else. But another one of the reasons was I wanted to drink beer before 21.
Right.
So I think my mom was kind of hip to that. She was like, "Oh, that's unique. You're cooking in the kitchen." Well, yeah, kind of.
You're like me.
It's your home ec class.
It's my home ec class, exactly. But
those beers weren't very good. It sounds like
they were not very good. No.
Yeah,
But when you're 18, it's more about function than form.
Right,
exactly.
I think. Right. Yeah. Were you able to at least finish the batches and drink them and enjoy the benefits of yeast converting sugars, or were they dumpers?
Right. I mean, there were a few dumpers, definitely some good drinking beers here and there. I mean, keep in mind the style. There was no big West Coast IPAs at the time. It was everybody was emulating the Bath and the what else was big?
Those
Beck's, Lager style.
Yeah, all the imports that you
Heineken.
Got it.
Heineken. And so, I didn't really have the ability to make any kind of lagers. Of course, you're only making ales, but you're kind of putting hops on there that were not really, the IBUs of the beer I ended up were very high. So, of course, I think the taste buds, that's when no one really expected much out of the beer. That's amazing how much that's changed in the last 15 years, right? I mean, 10 years.
Yeah.
You can't go back. I feel like everybody's palate has gotten used to a certain IBU, and and it's hard to kind of go back from there.
Yeah, things definitely shift, man, and you can go back. Sort of, it's almost like taking a drive through your old neighborhood, and you're like, oh, I remember that. I used to, used to skate on that thing, and you kind of, I remember when I could actually taste things, and now it's just IPAs and IBUs, and you just kind of go full force ahead.
Exactly,
I get that for sure.
Yeah.
Do you ever take any of your homebrew on the road? Like, what do your fellow bandmates think about what you're doing? Are they as impressed with your growth as a homebrewer as you are?
They are. I've kind of taken to the next level. Brewing with a lot of national breweries, and they're kind of like, oh, that's interesting. On the road, I've been brewing since I've been in the string cheese for a long time, so I'd always brew right before tour.
Mm-hmm.
And then have about 3 weeks or so, 2.5 weeks of tour, and I'd get back, and then I'd bottle or whatever I was going to do, second fermentation or whatever, and then I would jump in the bus again for another 10 days, and then come back, and then by the end I'd have actually a full beer.
See, that's the way to do it, man, because I want to sit and mess with stuff. I'll probably what you're doing right now with your stuck fermentation. You sit there and you stare at it, like, what can I do to either completely ruin this or to kind of salvage it? And yeah, that's great, man. Out of sight, out of mind.
So I've been brewing with them. They are not big craft brew drinkers. They're definitely traditional lager type drinkers, and one of them is gluten free. And so, in fact, I put the Claire with the Claire Firm. Is that what it is?
Clarity Firm. Yeah.
How'd that work?
I put Claire Firm in this current beer I have, and I did a beer locally with a company called Fate, and we did it, and it worked out great. So
really?
There's no taste difference at all.
No.
I mean, in my mind,
Yeah.
And I'll hopefully take that to them and see if they can, if this one guy, my bass player Keith, would like it or not. We'll see.
Is he willing to try?
He's willing to try. Yes, I've got a pretty good record now with some of the bigger breweries, so I feel like they're like, okay, you kind of know what he's doing. It was a little different than when I was homebrewing when I first joined the band. They're like, oh, great, Kyle, sure. And you just put that in the back of the bus.
Yeah. Well, it is kind of amazing that you haven't been able to convert them after all this time. I took note of that when I was down in the green room there. That the fridge, and there's all sorts of goodies in the fridge for the band there. But there was just a lot of macro beer, and I mean, after 15 years, usually you can convert people, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did get them to go to a mission. I got Keith to go to a mission, which is, what is that? The
Blonde Ale.
Yeah, and they have a hoppy one now too. Out of where are they? They're out of Oregon, right? I'm trying to remember the name of the brewery. Omission.
Omission.
Isn't that? Oh, that's just a line of beers, isn't it?
No, it's
Deschutes, isn't it? No,
it's called Omission beer.
Right, I thought that was a brewery.
Oh, the gluten-free. Are they gluten-free or something?
Yeah, well, they have a gluten-free pale ale, right?
Oh, okay.
But I don't know that all Omission's gluten-free.
It's Widmer.
Oh, it's Widmer, yes.
Yeah,
I think it is. That's why it's called Omission, I would imagine.
It's a line they have.
I got him converted to that. And,
that's good.
And so, and I think what it is essentially for me, and this is important for me when I go to every town, I try to connect with every brewery, at least a small local brewery, and I do a meet and greet with fans.
Yeah.
And I'll do something like, I call it like, I forget there's a name, like some kind of clever, the brew experience or something, where people can come and win golden tickets if you support a local charity. And then in the golden ticket, you can get, like, if 3 or 4 people win it if you buy a poster. And you come and have a meet and greet with me, and then I'll get a local brewery that kind of be involved, and we'll do, like, meet and greets and have them bring their brew. And so then I always kind of score out of the whole situation. Like, the last time was DC Brow, which is in DC. And so I get all these killer bombers and all this really unique stuff people will bring. So then I'm already taken care of. So the macro brew can live in the fridge for everybody else.
Yeah, and you're set. Yeah, you got the good stuff.
I got the cast, I got the stash.
Yeah, and it's great. And to your point, Scott, maybe he doesn't want to convert everybody because then he has to share his stash.
Right, exactly.
His beers are safe right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is that how you get hooked up with some of these guys that you're doing the collaborations with?
Definitely some of that. I think some of those relationships have been kind of going for a while. But yeah, for sure, putting my name out in that world and trying to brew as much as I can and learn as much as I can about the process.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of education there for you as a home brewer. When especially the guys in here, when we go to breweries, we like to sit in on brew days, or at least just poke around and ask a bunch of questions. Like the breweries you go to that just have the standard tours, and it's not really enough anymore. Especially after you've been brewing for as long as you have, it's kind of like I want to know exactly what's happening there.
It's so funny though. You do it like I brewed with Mitch from Stone.
Yeah,
and the process is exactly the same. It's just much larger and a lot more controlled. But the yeast is doing the same thing in my basement, or not doing right now. But that it's doing at all the great breweries, and the process is so similar. And what I love about it, how it relates to music for me is the kind of the chance you're taking with it, like with the beer with Stone. It was coriander and I think elderberries or something.
I think so, yeah.
And so that may or may not work. So we'll see. And I think there was a pilot system to some degree, but you're still making 8 barrels or something. So if it's too much coriander, pretty much what are you going to do about that? I don't know.
That's not your fault. That's up to Mitch. Let that guy handle it.
Right, exactly.
That's what I like about collaborations. If it doesn't work out right, you just play in the brewery.
Right. Or you just do a bunch of blending and then you get. Talking about collaborations in music too. I feel like I learned. I just did a little beer talk with the guys from Mo, and Vinny specifically, who's the drummer, and he and I were kind of just riffing off each other and talking about improvisation. And then we had played music the night before, and we didn't know what we were making. We didn't know what we were kind of going to brew on stage, and it kind of came together and it worked out great. I learned from them, and they certainly kind of were influenced by me in the same way I feel like when I collaborate with breweries too.
How do you figure something like that out on as far as a musical standpoint? Do you sit and you go, hey, you know what I really like? I like Chicago blues, or I like this kind of 60s psychedelic rock, and then you kind of go okay, and then you just go for it, or do you have a starting point that you both decide on, whatever that is?
Yeah, I think it varies. I've done collaborations where it's been very people are less comfortable with it. I'm trying to think of who I worked with recently. A female artist. Her name will come to my mind in 1 second. But she was not comfortable with the collaboration process. Mm-hmm. So we kind of had to be like, this is what we can offer to you. And she's like, I don't really know how to play bluegrass. I'm going to be. Can you play this? So then we learned kind of more her style, and we incorporated her more into our world. Versus we did a show with Zach Brown, who's a country artist, and he's totally got it. He came right to the table with what he was going to bring, and we came to the table and we met in the middle. So I think each collaboration is different. Specifically as String Cheese works, we kind of have to be open for whatever. We did Cool and the Gang last year.
Oh wow!
We did a collaboration with Cool and the Gang, and that was also one of the situations where we kind of had to come to the table knowing some of his material. He was the lead singer from Cool and the Gang probably wasn't going to sing a bluegrass tune with us, although that would have been really cool.
That would have been awesome, man.
But so we kind of had to be like, we're going to learn some stuff, and then we took some of the traditional great Cool and the Gang tunes from the 80s or whatever, and we extended them. We made them jam tunes. And so he was like, I don't know what you guys are going to do. I'm going to climb the stacks and drink the wine on the side.
I would love that, man. That sounds amazing.
Fun.
So you think Mitch was like, man, I'll bet you Kyle can get me some ins in the music world, and I can play some music. And Kyle was like, I bet Mitch can get me some ins in the beer world. We can make some beer. And they're
kind of meet together,
leeching off each other. I love it.
Well, he's a guitar player.
Yeah.
So we at the brewery, I instigated a jam session. So I got I made it with the guitar player Carrie Kelly. He plays with Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
It's Alice Cooper's guitar player and myself and Mitch and of course Greg. But and Greg sings too, or plays guitar, I think. So I instigated a big jam, and we had everybody in the brewery wanted to play something. We had 11 drummers. The bottling guy said he could play guitar, and then the barrel aging guy said, I'm a really good bass player. And we had 26 people, and we would just we played for about 2 hours and made a lot of noise and made some good music. We made some good music, but it was a great way to end the brew day. We brewed all day, and then everybody who helped in the brew and everybody who wanted to come, we just set up a big all this gear and we just jammed all night.
That's awesome. I get the bottling bucket. I get a beat on the bottling bucket.
Yeah, the guy who was playing that beat, who's just some goomper on the bottling line, probably went home and was flipping his shit out, telling his girlfriend or something, "You don't believe it happened today, you know? I knew I was working for $8 an hour for something, and this was it."
Right, exactly.
For this and beer. Yeah. I'd be like, I forgot my theremin at home. I can't sit in. I'm sorry. I don't even know where to go with that.
Where's Mitch at? Is he here?
He's having some issues. He's going to call Bev right now, as a matter of fact. I should probably let Bev know that. Hey, Bev. Cool.
I'm all over it.
Got it.
Hey, so
awesome.
How did the recipe design for that? The Stone one's the most recent one you've done, right?
What's it the most recent? I did. Hoopla is on its 5th year. The first real national collaboration I've made, and that was with Boulder Beer. The most recent probably was that, or the one with Cigar City. But Stone had the recipe was. I flew out, and I'm big getting my hands as much as I can in the process. So we talked on the phone about styles. We did a kind of a conference call, and then we went out and just did a pilot batch and talked about different sorts of ingredients that would go in. You know, how do you get string cheese and like hippies and like do we add like patchouli in one bottle and then maybe like chamomile, and then we couldn't put cannabis in it because it wasn't legal. So it got tricky, but it was really fun.
So what do you bring to the table? Because it sounds like it's kind of just like what you're doing with music. You know, you both kind of go, this is what I dig on, this is what you dig on, and we'll try to meet in the middle somewhere. But do you sit down the night before and make a list of just off the wall shit that you can do and just kind of push the boundaries a little bit, or you know?
No, I definitely have a list of things I would like to, especially when you're working with such professional brewers that kind of, I think they did a beer with seaweed or something. It was on some show, and I was like, if you're making beer with seaweed, that's like a whole next level of weirdness, So I think it was more in this case. It was actually us sitting down and like writing ingredients together, and you had a real good sense of what the grain and a malt load was going to be, because we knew we wanted to make it higher, like a 9% or something. So we kind of had that gone to the side already, and then we figured out what the adjuncts were going to be, and then the hopping schedule. So, but figuring all that out was definitely. I was there. I know a lot of musicians make beers across the country, and I'm psyched that people are connecting beer and music. But I just want to be clear that I'm in there, like scrubbing the fermenters when they're done, and I'm out there with the recipe creation and doing a lot of stuff.
You think the boys from Iron Maiden are like, all right, Crystal 60, and that's all I want to contribute to the Trooper beer. That's all I want to do.
Well, how common is starting with ABV? I mean, does that happen more than I think it does? Like, we're going to make a high alcohol beer and then kind of go from there?
I guess you have to have a starting point somewhere.
I guess.
Pick something.
Right. I never really thought about it that way. I mean, I guess my vibe is when I made this beer, in my basement. I mean, I knew I wanted to do something that was 6.5. I knew I wanted a malt load that could hold the hops that I wanted to put on it. So I knew right away if I wanted to be hoppy, then once again, the beer and music metaphor for me is about balance. If you're going to have a really hoppy beer, you want to have the malt behind it to kind of hold it so it's not over the top. In the same way, if you listen to a band, you want to make sure that it's like, even if it's the best Warren Haynes solo or Trey solo in the world, it can't be like 11 times louder.
Right.
It needs to fit in with the malt bill. It needs to fit in with the groove of what's happening, and so they all kind of come together and it makes it a cohesive unit. So to answer your question, to me, I kind of knew what the malt bill was going to be based on where I wanted the IBUs to be.
Got it.
Okay. I think we have Mitch Steele on the phone here.
Oh, good.
Hi, Mitch.
Your collab. Let me get him on. Let's see if I do it right.
Yeah, you're good. Go ahead. Good.
Mitch, are you with us, buddy?
I am.
How you doing, man?
Yes.
Hi, Mitch. Great. How are you?
This is Kyle.
Kyle, what's up?
How you doing today?
I'm good. Good. How about yourself? How you been?
I'm doing great, man. Actually, I have so many questions for you, but we should take some of these off the air.
No, this is great. You guys can do some heavy lifting, please.
Yeah. Or maybe he just wants to talk to him about, like, Shar-Pei grooming. I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do with beer at all.
I've got this rash I need you to look at.
We're talking beer? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. No, we just want to call you and hang out, Mitch. We like you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, we're going to do beer news later. We want you to sit in.
tell me about Delicious IPA. I want to know a little bit more about. You probably can't give out so many secrets, but I'm really, because I just got it the other day, and you're saying it's gluten reduced, and is that from? Are you allowed to tell us how that is processed, or what's the deal on that? Which beer? Delicious IPA.
Oh yeah. So we use an enzyme in there to break down the gluten, and it's something that White Labs turned us on to, and it really works well. All you do is add it to the fermenter, and it breaks down proteins. It was originally developed as a chill-proofing enzyme to reduce beer haze, and I was talking with Chris White about this a few years ago, and he was telling me about this because we were having some haze issues with our beers, and then he said, oh, and coincidentally, it takes gluten out. That really got my attention because my father-in-law has celiac, and he was a big beer drinker until he got diagnosed, and he hadn't been able to drink beer. So we started doing some testing and figured out it worked, and it's been great. The beer's been a big hit. We use a hop called El Dorado in it, which is really got a unique character.
So this,
El Dorado.
This is a new beer that you guys have coming out at Stone, Mitch?
Yeah, we came out with this in January. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How's it being received? I feel like a low-gluten beer would be snapped up pretty quick.
Do you market it that way?
We do, but you know what? The beer's a good IPA, and that was our first goal. And the gluten reduction piece to me is just an extra added benefit. Mm-hmm. But we tested several recipes, and the El Dorado hop is kind of a new hop variety, and it's really got this unique lemon starburst kind of character.
Oh wow!
Yes, I definitely have lemon. There's no other lemon in it. There's no verbena or anything like that. It's just that hop, right?
It's just the hop, yeah.
So what about the chill, the haze problem? That was something that popped up suddenly for Stone?
Yeah, that was something we were struggling with a couple of years ago, and we were having a hard time figuring it out. And it turned out that what the problem was is that our beer was getting warm going through the centrifuge. And what happens is chill haze is formed by proteins and tannins combining, and it's called chill haze because it forms when the beer is cold and then dissolves when the beer is warm. And how you deal with it is you chill the beer down and you get this haze to form, and then you run it through your filter, and that pulls all the haze out. And what we were struggling with is our beer was going through the filter too warm, so the haze hadn't developed, and then it developed after we packaged it.
So did you change your process that suddenly became a problem where it wasn't in 2003?
We think it was a malt issue. Brewers like to blame the maltster, and we're no different, It was kind of across the board, though. No, I think it was more an issue with our process and the fact that we were growing so fast and our chilling systems just couldn't keep up with what we're doing.
What about you, Kyle? What do you do for clarity for your homebrews?
Well, as you heard before, Michigan, I'm using Clarity Firm.
Oh yeah.
In my current homebrew right now, which is it's going to make it somewhat gluten free. I think we can't really say it's 100% house.
Yeah, gluten reduced or whatever.
Reduced, yeah. Honestly, in homebrew, I don't really care what it looks like that much.
Right.
It sits in a keg and it goes into a glass, into my stone glass, and then I drink it from there.
So, Mitch, before you came on, we were talking about how Kyle kind of prepares for collaborations with the professional side. But how do you do that with homebrewers? Like Kyle, do you come into the collaboration with a sort of an idea on a style that you want to hit, or you just kind of leave it open to whatever process forms?
We really like to leave it open, and our take has always been with any collaborations, whether it's with homebrewers or with professional brewers, is to let the collaborators really drive the recipe and the concept for the beer, because we're going to be doing the brewing, we're going to be fermenting, we're going to be packaging it, we're making all the money on the beer.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to have an opportunity for the collaborators to really have some pretty serious input in it, and it's been fun for us that way because it allows us to brew things that we may not have come up with on our own, and that's part of the fun.
Do you ever question You know, so the brew that you did with Kyle, it was a double IPA with coriander and elderberry. Did you ever sit there and scratch your head and go, "What the hell is going on here? This is never going to work."
That has happened. It didn't happen with this particular beer because we actually had Kyle and Carrie out to the brewery and we did a pilot brew and we tasted a whole bunch of traditional brewing herbs and picked them together. So, you know, we had a pretty good idea what we thought was going to work.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, wait, I have a question then. Tell me about seaweed. Seaweed, right? Didn't you use seaweed in one of your ones, Mitch?
Mitch, are you there?
Yeah.
I think you floored Mitch. He just you knocked him right out. He's so blown away.
The seaweed beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the one we did for Brewdog?
Yes.
Brewdog television show?
That's the one.
Yeah, that was one that had me scratching my head.
Yeah, okay. You have to, right? There's no way that you were just oh, yeah, seaweed, sure, let's do it.
Oh, it was horrific, too. It was awful.
Of course it was.
It turned out bad.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah, it did not turn out well.
Maybe like a Goza or something where you had that...
It was beyond a Goza. I mean, it was just a salty mess.
Like
it was
brine.
terrible.
That's what was wrong with it? It was just too salty?
Well, that was part of it. That was the main thing. Yeah,
If it would have been the only thing, it might have been okay.
Yeah.
You know, we use salt, or we use the seaweed, and we use peppers in the beer.
Oh, right.
So it just didn't play together well, and it just, I don't know, it was pretty bad. And actually what we tasted, or what they tasted on the show, was kind of a doctored-up version of the beer because it was so bad, and I felt guilty serving it to everybody who was in the bistro.
Yeah, how could they make anything but a horrible face when they drink it?
Right, yeah.
They would totally give it away.
So everybody's cheering and saying how great the beer is, and that's because we fixed it last minute.
Because it's not the beer.
It's actually Stone IPA you're in your glass.
Yeah, kind of like that, yeah.
Right.
Was it supposed to be a commercial release, or it was just for this show?
It was just for the show. It wasn't ever designed to be released. It was just designed to be tasted in the restaurant.
Good thing.
Do you?
Good thing.
It was a dumper.
Do you have to research some of these products? So, you know, I mean, I don't know if you ever used elderberry before, but I don't know. To me, like, we get this recipe down, and we go, okay, we'll use shoelaces and some leather and some shoe polish or whatever.
I just want to point out that JP is pretending to write as he says these things.
Right.
Like I'm writing
scribbling.
out my
He's
recipe.
Crossing them off.
Look, I wrote it. It says right there. It makes me think. I don't know. But like, do you research them, or you kind of just have been brewing with enough weird stuff over the years that you kind of know how everything's going to work, except seaweed?
Oh no, we try to research them. You know, we'll do benchtop trials, throw some ingredients in a beer, and just see how it tastes. I'm not that confident in using all these weird ingredients. We've had many misses, spectacular misses.
Well, and to that point, you have to, and that's what kind of what this whole thing is about, right? Is to teach the people listening when they want to collaborate with their fellow homebrewers, like how do you get this kind of creative process going? And it sounds like one of the keys is to not be afraid to fail.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. That's something I preach all the time. You know, especially when I was homebrewing a lot. I'd take all sorts of chances just to see what would happen and how it would work out, and I think that's the fun of it, you know. And with this beer with Brewdog, you know, it was only a 20-gallon batch, so if it didn't turn out great, no big deal. You know, if we were brewing 3,000 barrels of it on the big system, I'd put a little bit more effort into understanding what we were going to get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's funny. That's the exact quote I give to young musicians who come up to me, and I said, "Don't be afraid to fail. Like, take those chances." You know, once you have, your basic skill sets under your fingers, be willing to kind of riff off of that. Be willing to explore, and you're going to fall on your face sometimes, you know. But you're right. Like if I'm playing Red Rocks, I may be a little bit. I try not to be, but I may be a little bit more inhibited than when I'm playing, a local show for 1,000 people versus 10,000 people. I might do more research into my ingredients if I'm playing Red Rocks versus I'm just playing.
Why is
local,
that? Why is that?
I don't know. For me, and it shouldn't be. I think the ultimate goal is I just played with Phil Lesh last week, who played with the Grateful Dead, and talking about like jumping off, man. You just have to be ready. He gives you a set. He gave me the set list 2 hours in advance. He said, I hope you know all these songs. I was like, oh my god. And I think they got to the level where, and I think some degree Fish does, where it doesn't matter what level you're playing or how many people you're playing to.
Yeah.
you just can go to that space. And I think generally string cheese incident is good at that as well. It's just that, everybody gets a little bit nervous when you walk onto those big stages,
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
It's interesting, though. That is not how I think of musicians, especially ones on the level of a string cheese incident. You just assume that they have those bright lights on them no matter where they are, and they're just doing their thing.
Right.
You forget that they're humans.
Or maybe it's the other way around, right? You go on a smaller stage and you kind of maybe play a shorter set, but at like a festival or a larger stage, maybe I don't know. I would be too nervous to disappoint anybody to just do anything. I'd stand there and just crap myself and leave.
And in other news, JP's looking for a gig if you got an opening in the band, Kyle.
That's why. Look, I'm not afraid to fail. That's one thing I'm not afraid of.
He's actually real good at it.
Yeah, I'm actually excellent at it.
I have to ask this one last thing before we take a break, just to put you on the spot, Kyle. Do you have a favorite venue that you've played?
Probably, other than Stone's back room, would probably be Red Rocks. We have our own festival in the Midwest called Electric Forest, and that's a really fun place too. But awesome. I think Red Rocks being home is great.
Well, we're going to take a break right now. Kyle, if you can stick around, we're going to do one more segment with you if you like.
Can you hang out with us?
Sure. Mitch, if you want to hang on too, you're more than welcome. We're going to talk a little more collaboration, and but if you have to groom your Shar-Pei, I understand.
No, I'll hang out.
Okay, especially if Kyle and Mitch would like to have a conversation and let us go, have a beer.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Okay, so it'll be about like a 5-minute break or whatever, and then we'll come back and get with you guys again. Cool?
Cool. Okay.
All right. Awesome. Sounds great. Thanks a lot, everyone, for sticking with us. And we'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Limited time only. Enter promo code BNARMY during January and February for 10% off any Monster Mill. Don't settle for the second best grain mill. You want a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware. Monster Mills are tough, come in 2 and 3 roller designs, and are made right here in the USA from superior materials for longer lasting performance. Pick the mill that's right for you at monsterbrewinghardware.com and take Bevo's advice.
Trust me, it's always better to have a bigger tool than you think you need.
Monster Mills have the best warranty in the business. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit monsterbrewinghardware.com now and check out all the mills and mill accessories. Remember, during January and February, for 10% off any mill, enter promo code BNARMY.
Hey, Wooly, I'm beat. Can we find a nice tree to just hang out in for a while?
You're beat. I've been swinging through this forest for 50 years, ever since we first escaped from the circus. I know, but there's got to be more to life than exploring this creek and trying to populate the valley by copulating with loose, hairy girls.
Marquis, stop. Look!
What is that?
It looks like a man-made treehouse.
With fresh food.
And craft beer.
Welcome to the Creek Monkey Tap House, boys. Grab a seat. Creek Monkeys drink free.
Awesome!
The Creek Monkey Tap House in Martinez, California takes their mission of fresh food and beer seriously. They only serve locally raised beef and chicken, as well as local sustainable produce. It's better for you and the planet, and it just tastes better. The beer and wine at Creek Monkey Tap House are chosen with the same care for the highest quality and rotate frequently to make each visit an adventure. Swing on into the Creek Monkey Tap House and enjoy a new legend of amazing food, beer, and wine. The Creek Monkey Tap House, online at creekmonkey.com.
For nearly 40 years, one organization has had your back. The American Homebrewers Association. Are you a member? Why not? Join the more than 40,000 brewers who enjoy all the American Homebrewers Association has to offer. Like Zymergy Magazine, in print and online, plus the Zymergy app. Zymurgy is the leading publication for amateur brewers around the world. Supporters also get member deals at their local breweries, bars, and homebrew shops. These alone quickly pay for your membership. You'll also get great member-only resources at homebrewersassociation.org and access to AHA events like the National Homebrewers Conference and the National Homebrew Competition. The American Homebrewers Association promotes the hobby of homebrewing, protects the interests of homebrewers, and brings beer lovers together. Become a member today. It costs less than a batch of beer and gives back so much more. Visit homebrewersassociation.org.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit.
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Brewcasters are back.
888-401 beer.
Whatever.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. We have Kyle Hollingsworth here from the String Cheese Incident, and most recently from a collaborative brew with Mitch Steele from Stone.
I got the brewery Omegang Game of Thrones beer in my hand that one of our bar patrons out there had got a bottle, and he handed it to me with the rest of it. Remember I reported on this that they did a Game of Thrones beer?
Yes.
Yeah, well, here it is in the flesh.
It exists.
Yeah, it does.
It exists in the wild.
It's a series. There's multiple Game of Thrones beers.
So I wanted to get in on the, media collaborating with breweries and doing things. Loosely related to, what Kyle's doing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. How do you think George R.R. Martin approached brewing with Omegang? You think he, just sat there and stared at him?
Well, I want to know what Tyrion thinks of that beer, because he's an appreciator of spirits.
I don't know. Do you understand their references, Kyle? Because I don't.
I do.
Oh, good.
In fact, I have to go watch Sundays early.
Careful, I haven't seen it yet.
No spoilers.
No spoiler alert central here.
Oh, you're really not going to like when Danny dies.
Hey, stop it.
Oh,
you know what I
man. For sure there's some nudity, and I'm sure there's somebody dies. And that's pretty much the whole show.
That's why you tune in.
And it's both in equal doses, and both are unexpected. There's unexpected nudity and unexpected death, and I'm okay with that.
But it's a great way to end a Sunday.
Right.
And it'll be totally boring until the last 10 minutes, and then you're going to be like, oh, something happened. Cool. I'll watch next week.
Oh, man. Kyle, tell me about the Labruski cruise, man. That sounds interesting.
Oh, nice. Sweet. I'm so glad you're bringing that up. We're just probably going to announce it this week. It's basically going to be a floating beer festival. We're trying to get 20 to 30 or maybe 30 to 50 breweries on board.
Wow.
And we're going to be probably doing things like brewing on board, beer dinners. We're trying to separate the front of the ship to the back by regions of the world, if not perhaps more so the country. Wow. And then we're going to have music acts on board. So there definitely is some music, but my big thing is essentially I'm trying to get everybody psyched for a floating beer festival. I'm actually hoping to even brew on stage, brew at the event.
Wow, that would be amazing.
Okay.
Like, you got to set the timer so every 15 minutes you stop playing and throw in some hops, or you call someone from stage and be like, "Who wants to add my flavor hops?"
That would be, like beer fans would love it. It was so much fun in that way. Like, I think getting them on board and having them meeting some of the brewers from different breweries around the country and getting the access to great seminars and maybe some unique beers you can't get anywhere else. Maybe I'll try to do a couple collaborations that are only available on the boat. Absolutely.
That'd be cool. When does that whole thing go down?
It's good question. Is that information right in front of you on a piece of paper?
Yeah, it's in March next year.
March next
Thank
year.
you.
Yeah.
I knew it was my March. I think it's right about my birthday. I think actually March 2nd is my birthday. I think it's like 3rd and 4th or something.
Hell, if we got paid to do the show, then yes, we would have information right at hand. But
that's going to be a nice gift for yourself. So are you going to play the host on board?
Yes, it was Big Lebowski is supposed to be play on the Big Lebowski. So there's a little bit of play on that. So, they were actually trying to get who was the kind of, you guys can help me, who was the main star of Big Lebowski? Who was the dude?
Jeff Bridges.
They're trying to, they're kind of courting Jeff Bridges to be part of the...
You got to do that.
I think the Brewing Network should be a part of this.
Yes,
too.
yeah. Can we get in on this or what?
Absolutely.
We'll do some broadcasting.
That'd be awesome, right on the boat. I don't know if we should we pre-record it or something, because I don't know if you can actually go off the boat with
Wi-Fi.
We need high
maybe. Yeah, we do live recordings all the time.
Feeds.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
We can do it.
But so I think this would be a bit of the bowling night, the something night.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Picking which carpet ties the room together.
Yeah.
So are you gonna play? Is the whole String Cheese incident going to be there? Or are you playing your solo stuff?
It's my solo stuff, and we definitely have, I think, OAR's on there and a couple other bands. We probably have like 15 or 20 bands, so there's going to be music as well. But not String Cheese, just myself.
How long is this event going to be?
It's like 4 or 5 days, right?
4 or 5 days. Yeah,
it's an actual cruise.
Yeah, it's a cruise. It's it's with Carnival, right? It's like when a Carnival ship.
Yep, and you get up and you go out, and we're going to bring you to the whole stops of the cool islands, and maybe on the island there'll be a separate little brew festival on the beach, So it's going to be kind of a fun thing.
This is awesome.
I swore that I would never go on a cruise because
this is the one.
It just it creeps me out. But this is the one. If you can get Ween back together and have them book
that would
them,
be awesome,
then
right?
I'm so into them. It's not even funny, and I'd be there. I'd be first in line buying tickets on the internet.
That'd be awesome.
Mitch, are you still there, buddy?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Do me a favor, dude. Tell me how it was playing with a bona fide rock star, because I've never done that before. I've only played with Sam.
Yeah, Kyle, what was it like playing with Mitch?
That was so much fun. Didn't you have that was an awesome night. I don't know if you guys do that.
Definitely a highlight of my musical endeavors.
Right?
I've never thought I'd be able to do something like that, and it was just fun. It was great to have the whole team out there. So many people at Stone like to play music, and at times it was a cacophony, and other times it kind of worked, but it was just great, It was great fun.
Just like beer, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets all muddled and lost, but were there a couple of moments? I don't know why, I just got to know, where you kind of looking around like, what the fuck is everybody doing right now?
Oh, yeah.
Find the downbeat. Find it!
Kyle and Carrie did their best to try to keep us in line, but it didn't always work.
It's like herding cats. That's weird.
Yep.
All right, so there's a couple other things on Kyle's one sheet here that I wanted to cover. That you've gotten a lot of money raised for Conscious Alliance. Can you tell us about the charity?
Yeah, it's a charity we've been working with. String Cheese specifically has been working with for many years. They help. They started out helping Native Americans in Wyoming, and then they've stretched out and helping lots of families in need now, mainly to the food donation, but it's kind of turned more so into clothing and other building, houses and et cetera for people in need. So it's something I've probably been involved with for about 15 years or so.
Awesome.
So, yeah, they were involved with my brew festival, et cetera. So.
Oh yeah, the Kyle's Brew Fest.
Yes.
Yeah. What about that?
Yeah. That's a fun thing I do once a year, and it's always a challenge. We're about to announce that coming up soon too, and it's awesome to do. But I'm once again just like brewing the best I can. I try to be hands on. So I'm like, okay, let's organize the porta potties. Let's put them over here. Let's put the stage is going to be here, and it's so awesome. And we're actually doing a pre-party at the String Cheese Intimates Red Rocks Run. So we're going to actually do a brew festival, charity beer festival right before String Cheese show. So there's a lot more details now. I'm trying to get that involved, but it's a great event. It's 35 to 40 breweries, and I try to collaborate as much as I can with whoever's on board there. And so it was fun. It's great. And of course, it's in Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah.
Now, how fast do you think we could burn our live broadcast bridge, where just Kyle's involved in like 18 rad events a year, and we just like, we'll broadcast from there. We'll broadcast from the cruise. We'll broadcast from Kyle's Brewfest. We'll broadcast from every stop drink season.
Love it.
Yeah,
I think we could do it. I think we could do it. It sounds rad, man.
And then GABF, you'll like this, Bevo. This is why Isaac. I don't know. Is that why Isaac Hansen was there? Did you get him to go, Kyle?
Well, I was trying to actually. This involves Mitch too, because I was going to ask him about next year. But this last year we did it. Hansen came out with a beer called Hop instead of
Oh, we know.
and so he was there promoting his new beer. And I was there just because I love hanging around with really cool people, like that are really famous brewers like Mitch. And so it's when I meet all these. I play with really great musicians, like really famous Paul Simon and Phil Lesh, and I'm always like, oh hey, what's up? But then I meet like really famous brewers. I'm like, oh my god, that's Sam from Dogfish. Oh my god, that's Mitch. Oh my god, I'm talking to him. Like I get all. I don't know what to say. But yeah, so at Great American we did a little event. It was Sam and me and Bradley from Homebrew Association, and it was really fun.
Yeah, we know Bradley. We're good pals with him, and apparently he can lay down the bass pretty good.
Yes, and so what we're needing this year is a guitar player. We need Mitch to be involved.
Oh.
Nice.
So that was my conversation that I wanted to have with him separately.
So Mitch, what do you think? Are you gonna join him on stage?
I'd love to. That'd be fun.
Is this going to be a yearly thing now? The music and beer panel?
I don't know. Bradley's really into it, and of course I'm so into it as well. So I think it's kind of up to him. I hope I'm involved, but I think it's a great. But I think the whole concept of those two worlds coming together is something that's important to me, and I think it's a cool part, a good side of the beer industry.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. Well, for the band at the GABF, if you guys need someone to walk on stage and crap their pants, I'm your guy. Like that's what I can do that real well.
No problem. Okay, great.
You're in.
What always blew me away is I saw, as a side note, I saw the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones one year at the Fillmore, only because there's another band opening up that I really wanted to see, which, how often does that, happen? There's a really famous band, but you really go there for the opener. Which it was a Flogging Molly at the time. And, and so we're standing there, we're like, well, whatever, we paid to get in. And the Boston, they had this dude that dances every song. He's boss tone, so that's what he does. Like, that's his gig for the band. And I'm like, first of all, how do you get that gig? And second of all, you just do this, you just skank for like 2.5 hours?
It's got to be a relation. It's like Dickie Barrett's kid brother or something, right? It's got to be, it's a familial
thing. I
thing.
think it's like a fan who just did it one time.
Really?
And they're like, sure, let's do this. And then, do you have anybody get on stage and do some weird crap like that?
Not all the time. We do have random people that jump on stage and dance, but for real, we do. String Cheese is pretty about the incident, about every show being different, and every beer I try to make it different. But every String Cheese incident, every show is different, so we'll hire like Cirque du Soleil people a lot of times, and, and they'll put on a cool event with people hanging from wires and ropes, and so it's kind of cool,
Wow.
It's nice to see that art coming together with music as well.
Yeah, a lot of visuals. It sounds like you guys need to get hooked up with Lagunitas and their beer circus thing that they do.
Oh, I've heard about it. I heard about it, but I actually haven't seen it.
Tasty's been.
Circus?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be perfect to play at that event. Yeah.
They have like sword swallowers and fire breathers and contortionists and all this kind of stuff.
Nice.
That sounds pretty rad, man.
So what is your next collab coming up?
I'm more interested. Mitch, when's your next collab?
Oh, there you go.
We just released one with we brewed a beer with Ecliptic up in Portland, John Harris's new brewery, and Wicked Weed out in North Carolina.
Yes.
Okay, John Harris was at Full Sail, right? No.
Right, for a long time, and then he opened up his new place, and I've known John for like 25 years, so this was a real treat, and we brewed an IPA. It was a double IPA blended with a Belgian triple.
What?
And we aged the Belgian triple in tequila barrels.
So you brewed the double IPA, and then you brewed the Belgian triple, and then you blended those two together. So we
brewed the Belgian triple back in December, and then the double IPA just a couple months ago, and then we blended the two together.
And the Belgian was aged in tequila barrels.
Yes.
Have you done any tequila barrel aging before, or was this part of a collaboration kind of idea?
This was the first one. I don't know how it came up, but who came up with the idea? But our barrel manager Steve Gonzalez was able to find some tequila barrels, and we went to town.
What did you think of it? Is Stone going to have a tequila barrel aged beer coming out?
It needs to be the right beer. I think tequila doesn't lend itself to beer as well as bourbon barrels do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in a triple it worked out really well. So if we ever did anything that was aged in tequila barrels, it'd probably be something with a Belgian slant to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how did the barrel beer taste, and what percent of the total blend was the barrel beer?
That's Tasty McDowell, in case you didn't know, Mitch.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm just kidding.
He knows me.
The barrel-aged portion was just a small portion, about 12.5%.
Okay.
The triple was 25% of the total blend.
Oh, I see.
Interesting.
Wow.
And then the rest of it was, the remaining 75% was double IPA.
How'd that come out? Can you give us a couple
liked it.
words?
I thought it was really great. We used... what did we use? We used Calypso and Amarillo hops in it and really tried to give it kind of a tropical thing to go with the tequila, and I think it worked.
Right.
And then the Belgian triple, you get some banana from the yeast.
Right.
And then we also used Yarrow hops in it, and so to me those hops come across kind of banana-like. So we just had this kind of tropical fruit salad going on with a beer with little hints of oak and berries.
Sweet.
Yeah, some of that tannin maybe coming through. I mean, how much of that tequila comes through? Like, if I taste it, would I go, oh, yeah, I can get the tequila, or do you really have to work at it?
You have to work at it a little bit. It's interesting. The barrels that we used were red wine barrels, and they had only held tequila for a few months, about 3 months, and then we got them right after that. So there wasn't a heck of a lot of tequila impregnated in the wood. I think we actually got more character from the red wine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you want to make a tequila beer, just use agave as a fruit. Don't eat it.
You wouldn't do the tequila proper?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we used agave nectar in both beers.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Which kind of tied it all together.
Yeah. Right, and that ferments out there at agave.
Yeah, it's like honey or any sort of sweet syrup. It ferments out almost 100%.
Well, so that's actually an interesting point. Could you use agave to, like you would use sugar just to boost alcohol as a substitute for sugar?
Well, yeah, you must want that other flavor that comes with it. But sure, sugar.
Yeah, what I'm not trying to say. What sort of flavors come to the beer from that fermented out agave? Are they little like kind of darker flavors, or is it like a cane sugar where you just really don't taste a whole lot of it?
I'd say it's more like a cane sugar. It really, I couldn't pick up on it. Now, agave nectar has some nice flavor. I don't know how to describe it, but I didn't get any of that in the beer.
Okay, and so, but you just use it just to kind of play around with it because it's you're using tequila barrels and it's kind of fun, or?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of doing a beer as well. Home brewing or commercial brewing or collaboration is you can kind of play around with it. I know a few home brewers who they'll always pour a little bit of the beer they're drinking into the beer that they're making while it's boiling. Just shit like that because just to play around and stuff. So yeah, I get it. That's cool.
Last night, I told Mitch too. I found a new great style beer that's going to. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be basically a wild IPA, which I'm sure people are making now. This is from
now they've been making it since the first home brewer crawled out of the water.
Not on purpose.
Exactly. Right. No, Crooked Stave, Crooked Stave guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so it was such a great mix with Brett, and then they must have done some blending because it came out and there's really nice hop notes on it. And you definitely have a malt flavor to it. So it's been like they must do like a 10% red or something with it, or sour. And it was so incredible. I was like, this is going to be, for me, I'm not a huge sour guy, but it was a nice mixture. I was like, this is the right way. This is the way to kind of get people introduced to those flavors, and still bring in the hop qualities to it. It's really nice.
Okay, that's good because there have been people who've tried that on the homebrew circuit. You go to like NHC, the homebrew conferences, and people are pulling out their experimental stuff for club night and whatever, and it doesn't always work. So I think it takes a light hand at that.
Yeah, exactly.
That recipe.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
But don't be afraid to fail, right? That's the other thing in this whole thing.
There you go.
Well, and I'm glad to hear you coming around a little bit on the sour stuff. I brought Kyle a rare barrel bottle back when I went to the concert last year. And he was like, I'm not much of a sour guy, but, here, I got this Stone collab beer. And oh, man. So I'm glad to hear you say that, Kyle.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really well done. It's really well. Yeah, it's great.
That's excellent. What's the next collab for you, Kyle? I know you deflected to Mitch, but,
No,
let's talk about you for a second.
I'm always intrigued what he's working on. But for me, let's see. What am I working on now? I did one recently with Sweetwater. We did a cask for the 420 festival, and actually it turned out really great. I was really impressed by it. You never quite know what the cask. You're like, what's going to happen?
Right.
And it was great. So that was the most recent one, and I don't think I have one really in the works. There was talk of Star Hill. I don't know.
You've done one with Sweetwater before, right?
I don't know. Yes, on the Jam Cruise, exactly. Which was at least 3 or 4 years ago. But like I said, Hoopla, my collaboration, 5th year coming. It comes out in about a week, and then I'm just always open for things. We'll see,
Yeah. Are you starting to get breweries contacting you, or is it still you just reaching out to breweries that you love or are local to the joints you're playing at?
I definitely get some breweries reaching out to me for sure now, and it's a matter of kind of making the choice and where I want to put my name, because I think to some degree I'm using my name to help them sell their products, so I want to make sure that I feel strongly about the brewery I'm getting involved with. So a lot of times I like going out there and doing tastings with them and seeing what makes sense. And a little less worried about local stuff, but yeah.
In other words, if you're Busted Whistle Brewing Company out of Poughkeepsie, don't bother. if you're Stone, by all means.
Hey, Busted Whistle Brewing may have the best Hellas in the entire universe.
You never know.
And we just don't know about it because the bottling line's broken or whatever. Kyle, what would you say the largest piece of advice or a commercial aspect of brewing that you were able to take from let's say, Mitch, someone as handsome and ruggedly good-looking as Mitch Steele, and incorporate into your brewing? Because you got to pick up on stuff, right? I mean, that's just...
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, along the way, I've definitely learned...
is it just general?
One I learned one great... I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but I learned one great thing of Mitch about how he does the hop, and where he places hop placement within the boil. And so for me, I think I picked up little bits of information at different breweries I go along. I've worked with Telluride Brewing, and I just learned some stuff from them too. And I think it isn't like one specific thing, like some great,
it's probably a really hard question to pin down, but I guess I would imagine just maybe an overall, elevation in your brewing technique and ingredient handling and timing of transfers and stuff like that.
I think a lot of that actually has come from just trial and error in working with my friends here in town. Like going out and brewing with the big guys as much as I can, and I literally take notes when I brew with those guys. And like, okay, cool. I'm going, I'll try it here, and it doesn't necessarily work on the 10-gallon system. It should theoretically if I break it down enough. But a lot of times my friends and I are kind of we'll experiment here in the backyard, and I learn a lot from that. Like right now, like I said, I'm figuring out maybe I don't want to use that British yeast that's currently in my fermenter that's not doing what I want it to do.
Yeah, it probably flocked out too soon is probably what happened to you.
I don't really know. I don't know what's going on. That's probably a temperature thing. We've had a lot of rain. And
if it senses it's trying to go cold, it'll flock out real quick. Which English strain is it, Kyle?
It's funny. I actually wrote it down in case you asked me because I don't have it on top of my head. It's WY1335.
Yeast 1335. I'm not familiar with what that is. Anybody know what that is?
I don't know the English strains.
Yeah. I would guess it's British 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah. So I wanted
7.
I gave it some aeration. I gave it a little bit more stuff, and then I warmed it up. And I know, and I'm not trying to do obviously not too much, but I'm just trying to get something for it to eat, so like it could actually kind of have some growth still happening. I didn't bring it up down, but it didn't. It's going to drop a little bit more, I think. But I'm really thinking about pitching something like my neighbor has some just standard yeast. Maybe repitch on that a little bit.
All right. Meantime, just try rousting the yeast that you already got in there.
Shake it up.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I did. I did. That's
We
what
did
I
that. Oh, you
was
did.
shaking
Okay.
it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And heated up to some degree to kind of keep it at least consistently. It was down to like 63 for a while, and I was like, that's not going to work.
Oh, yeah.
That'll make it drop out.
Yeah.
And maybe what it is, it could be like it didn't quite ferment out, Continuation is not exactly what I wanted, but that's fine. It's also going to be great, I'm sure.
Yeah, warm it up.
It'll be fine, I'm sure. I mean, it'll be, whatever. It's just beer.
I've been doing. I don't know. Mitch probably have heard this little shtick I do, but I kind of compare different elements of music, different elements of a band to different elements in beer. So, like maybe the drums or the water. We can discuss this, or the bass is the grain or something, and then the guitar players. The hops because it goes to 11. I'm figuring, and then I always say the lead singer is the yeast because you never know whether he's going to show up.
So you're saying you and your yeast are having creative differences right now?
Yeah,
exactly right.
Yeah, this beer is
He's
called.
passed out in the back, right?
Yeah, this beer is called Guns N' Roses.
Right, and for some reason it gets to be the star. I'm not real sure why.
Exactly. What's up with that? It imparts all the flavors.
Yeah. Where would you say you get the most groupies, in beer or music? Be honest.
Obviously, definitely music.
Yeah.
Not
where
dudes.
Where are the best-looking groupies?
Right,
in
yeah.
beer or in music?
Good-looking dudes, definitely beer.
Yeah, I would say probably.
Yeah, I know. Kyle, I appreciate the time, man.
Let me plug Kyle's
yeah,
albums
please do.
because they're
Please
so
do,
good.
Scotty.
The most recent one, his solo album, Speed of Life, excellent.
Yeah.
Go download it and do yourself a favor.
Kyle Hollingsworth Band. Is that solo?
Yeah, yes. Yeah. And then the String Cheese Incident's latest album too, Song in My Head, fantastic.
Yeah?
It's really great music. Yeah, everyone will like it. It's whatever genre you like, you'll like this stuff. I mean, it just incorporates so much of like we were saying, we have blues and jazz and jam band and. I'm telling you, you can't go wrong.
I like esoteric crustcore, grindcore, like just metal scream.
There's elements of that too. Oh yeah, yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I love it, Kyle. Keep up the good work. The music's fantastic.
I appreciate it, Kyle. And the beers are sounding delicious too, man.
Yes, and the beers, obviously.
That's I like that. I'm glad to see that you're not only have one passion you're following, but you have another one that you're following, which is
that's what I kept
happens
thinking.
to be ours, which is beer.
I kept thinking as we're coming up to the show, people listening to this, like how many of our listeners, shittily play the bass. And homebrew, and then homebrew's all right.
I'd say one, but I don't listen to the show. So
I'm not talking about. Okay. You're great on the bass. But I mean, and then they're like, man. Then there's guys like Kyle out there who are like, they're brewing with Stone one weekend, they're selling out Red Rocks the next, and they're like, man, what went wrong in my life?
Well, that's what happens when you're a success.
Huh?
That's what you're right. When you're a success,
when you do
get
something
to do
good.
lots of things well.
That's true. Instead of filing TPS reports. I don't know, man.
Fuck up, Beardy.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It's cool. I had a good time, Kyle. I appreciate you taking the time and hanging out with us, man.
Right on. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, buddy. And Mitch, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's been good fun.
Yeah, always. When are you coming up here next, man? We miss you. We haven't hugged you.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I need to. Probably not till late summer.
We'll see you at BNA 10, right?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Wednesday night before the NHC, right? You'll be there, right?
Yeah, it's on my calendar. I'll definitely be there.
Yeah, Kyle, if you happen to have a night off, Wednesday, June 10th, it's our 10th anniversary party down in San Diego, man. You're
awesome.
you got to get there if you're not going to be selling out some stage somewhere.
Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Yeah,
our pleasure.
Of course, man. Thank you.
Take care.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You notice how he was like, yeah, that's really great. Anyway, thanks for having me on.
Congratulations, guys. See you later.
Well,
he didn't say the congratulations part.
Yeah.
He just said the see you later part.
On the other side, he's a trained professional at interviews.
He sure
so
is.
he knows when it winds down, but sometimes you kind of just go, I don't know, are you just saying goodbye? Am I going to stay on afterwards?
Right.
And we're going to talk or whatever, but, I don't know. That was cool, man. That was fun. Seems like a mellow dude.
Yeah.
Very nice guy.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break, and then when we come back, we have a very special guest, Sue Langstaff. She teaches the Master Brewing students at UC Davis, and we're going to go through a sensory training panel. I'm really excited about that. Only if Justin was here. He needs the training more than I do.
We did so well at picking out styles last week.
Yeah.
Time to start picking out faults.
It's going to be a good time. Everyone, stay with us. We'll see you after the break.
happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California, and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
If you don't know Yeastman, you're missing out. White Labs Yeast Manager, Yeastman, is available free to any brewer. Yeastman is your direct link to White Labs' yeast production facility. Yes, you can check yeast availability, and yes, you can place an order, but Yeastman is much more. View yeast quality control and analytical reports. See your big QC Day entries and reports. Get access to the entire White Labs catalog, specials on overruns of freshly made yeast, and customized options for your account. Yeastman is the only real-time online ordering in the business connected directly to factory production. Yeastman is always on and always live. It's the largest online marketplace for specialty brewers' yeast and related products. Visit yeastman.com today and tap directly into White Labs production facility. Gonna brew? Yeastman to the rescue.
When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a Certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. Adventures in Homebrewing have the knowledge and expertise to craft their own gear and original recipes. Some of the things homebrewing.org creates and manufactures in-house are the Brutus brew stands and propane burners, the Serial Killer adjustable 2-roller grain mill with 7-pound hopper, custom stainless steel false bottoms designed to fit kegels, coolers, and mini-sized brew pots. The brewers at Adventures in Homebrewing have designed a huge selection of original recipes for extract and all-grain brewing. Adventures in Homebrewing original recipes are tried and tested, proven to be of the best quality. And right now, Adventures in Homebrewing is shipping 24 of their best recipes for free. Visit homebrewing.org for the most current selection. Once you try one of Adventures in Homebrewing recipes, you'll keep coming back for more. And now, it's even easier with free shipping on these kits. Brewing Network listeners receive 10% off their homebrewing.org orders when they use coupon code IPA at checkout. See terms and conditions for full details.
Segmented, demented, fermented.
It's the session.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We're all just kind of hanging out, listening to some Kyle Hollingsworth, some of his solo stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not too bad, man. Pretty
good.
Darn good. Before we move on, though, I do want to tell you, I have a question for you, Beverly.
Okay.
Are you getting enough?
Yes.
Are you?
Too much.
All right. Tasty, I have a question for you. Are you getting enough?
No.
I bet you love more, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, AdamandEve.com wants to give you that more, Tasty. So however much more you want, it's waiting for you at AdamandEve.com. You have 10 free gifts. You'll get a sexy surprise for her, a specially selected toy for him, and a third, a little something that AdamandEve.com know that you'll both enjoy. Plus, you get 6 full-length adult movies on DVD. I feel really uncomfortable doing this live read because in front of Sue.
Yeah.
Because I don't know Sue at all, and she's like, "What's happening?" I can imagine.
This is my segment?
It's totally normal, Sue. Don't worry.
Just because you're on.
Well,
the door's not locked. It's fine.
I don't know if it's normal. It's common.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's normal.
It's a regular
right. Just go to AdamandEve.com and select any one item. You get 10 free gifts. It could be an adventurous new toy or anything you desire, whatever you want. Just enter. The key thing is to use the code BNARMY. That's BNARMY at checkout. You'll get all 10 free gifts. You get a bunch of free stuff. And, let's face it, Christmas is coming up shortly. And, you can save some of these gifts for Christmas. Is Christmas short? No, it's not. It's like 11 years away.
Anyway, stocking stuffers. That's where you're going to put your Adam and Eve trinkets.
Father's Day. There you go.
Father's Day. Perfect. Anyway, AdamandEve.com, everyone. Check them out. Okay. So we have something pretty cool going on.
This should be
here.
interesting.
Yeah, we have Sue Lagstaff. She teaches the Master Brewing class at UC Davis. Is that right, Sue?
That is correct.
Welcome
Actually,
to the show.
The extension program. We teach the Master Brewers program through the extension.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
Oh, gosh, probably about 12 years now.
Okay. And what got you started in teaching today's the brewers of tomorrow, if you will, I guess?
Well, okay, great question. My major professor, Michael Lewis, is teaching there, and I worked with him back in. I got my master's degree in food science and specialized in sensory science, and my thesis work was on the sensory and instrumental evaluation of the mouthfeel of beer.
Oh, wow.
And that was back in 1990. And you guys have been talking about the Great American Beer Festival. Well, I was a judge back in 1990 and 91.
Awesome.
Got my little cup here to confirm that.
Oh, wow. And you haven't broken it yet.
No.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. We got a glass from the 90 JBF.
No. I got signed coasters, too. About the judges there. Cool.
She brought her credentials.
Yeah. I didn't bring them, but
you're bonafide.
I consistently break my GABF cup every year.
Everybody
like, crap.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you have to before the next year.
Got to replace them.
That's incredible. How was that experience, seeing, judging beer back then and then, judging it now?
Well, that's another great question because what we thought were defective beers back then are now good beers.
Oh, really?
How what do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking mainly of beers like Vinnie Salurzo's making with the Brettanomyces beer. If we had anything like that at the GABF, we would just smell it and push it aside.
Really? There was no category at all for Brett anything?
No.
Wow.
Our standards have lowered.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to just let Vinny know that. Like, look, Vinny.
Yeah. You would not have been allowed.
This is no 1990 beer, let me tell you.
Yeah.
No, Vinny has been really great to the program. He's donated some beers for us, and people, they either love those beers or they're just, wow, this is unusual. We get a lot of people from the big breweries, S.A.B. Miller from all over the world, people coming from Chile and Colombia. And then we've got people from InBev, and when they taste those beers, their hair blows off.
I feel like they need a shower afterwards. Right?
Yeah,
they've been contaminated.
I hear that the craft beer scene in South America is huge right now. It's really exploding.
Yeah, these people from Colombia, they're getting into it, but again, they're at SAB Miller and they're just getting their eyes opened up here.
Okay, so they're Miller folks coming to Davis to take your courses.
Well, actually, their company sends them. They spend 6 months up in Davis.
Mm-hmm.
They live in a hotel or a house that they rent, but they don't go back until they're finished, and then they have the credentials and they can go out to other breweries around the country or other locations within the company.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. We've had a lot of people from around the world, and the program's really been growing. There was sort of a dip there back around 9/11 where we didn't get the people that were coming from overseas, but it's grown. And we thought, this is sort of not going to happen anymore, but it's just growing. There's registrations out for the next, we're packed for the next 3 years.
Wow. And specifically for your course or for just that entire master's program?
Yeah, the entire Master Brewers program. The students sit for the exam through the Master Brewing IBD, Institute of Brewing and Distilling in England, and they take the test. So there's several portions of the test, and they come out with the Master Brewing diploma. But I teach specifically sensory evaluation of beer, how to taste beer in an analytical fashion, and how to recognize the various defects. But the one perk that I have for that, I mean, they don't pay very much, but
sounds like you work in radio.
Yeah, the one perk I have is I get to try all the beer that I want to. So.
Have you noticed a difference in the demographics of the students from, say, 15 years ago?
Yeah, that's another good question. People are coming from all over the world, and I am not kidding. There was a woman from Japan. She could hardly speak any English, but she was there. We've got people, just about every state in the United States, and a lot of African countries, too. Heineken had been sending some people, and they were going to be stationed in Africa, so... It's just incredible.
What do you see the ratio of men to women? Because I met a woman from Brazil at CBC who's going to the Davis program right now.
I know her. She is an excellent taster, by the way.
Yeah.
But the number of women are increasing in the program. It used to be 0, and now I think we have the highest that we've ever had, which was like 7. Out of about 40, we take a maximum of 40 students.
Okay.
Wow.
Why do you think
that's
that
a
is?
huge increase?
Yeah.
Why do you think the sudden increase?
Well,
assuming it was sudden, I don't know.
I think women are figuring it out. I mean, it's really funny how it happens. You know, women were the original brewsters,
right?
And now they're coming back to their roots and saying, yeah, this is really fun. And so they usually get in because their boyfriend or their husband brews, and then they start drinking more beer and seeing the incredibly wide variety of things that are out there and how creative you can be when you're making this. Because, I mean, right now in the state of craft brewing in the States anyway, there's no limit. The sky is just, it's wide open. Whereas in some places, no, you must brew within certain, criteria. But now, you can do whatever you want to.
Yeah, we live in interesting beer times for sure. It's really very dynamic.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
And fun.
It is. It is really fun. Well, like Kyle was saying in the last segments, I mean, a double IPA with coriander and elderberry. I would never. I'd be sitting there and be like, "That's not going to work."
Well, I was talking with Jeffers Richardson the other day from Firestone Walker. He was on our olive oil tasting panel, and he was recruited back to Firestone Walker to run their wild beer program. He said the biggest thing down in San Diego, and he was down there, was peanut butter beers.
Yeah.
There was a wave of those.
For like a hot minute, for a hot... Well, and Jeffers, now, he was the guy who developed DBA, right? The
That's
double
correct.
barrel. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
He was at Sierra Nevada and then at Firestone, and then got into olive oil, and he was on our tasting panel at UC Davis. And so I move in several different circles.
You have to, I think,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I'm a sensory scientist, so I can do baby diapers, or I can do wine, beer, olive oil, anything that you use your senses to analyze what you're smelling and tasting in an analytical way.
Is that because, I mean, it's essentially it's just a chemistry, right? So it's just the compounds are the same throughout, you know, whatever kind of medium is delivering them to you, and you can pick it out in olive oil, you can pick it out in beer. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you just have to have the language and the vocabulary in order to describe what you're smelling and tasting. And so, I mean, a lot of people just, you know, when you give them a beer, what do you think? Oh, it's good.
Right.
Or, I like
that's
it.
like
So-
that's the worst. And we've done whole shows on how to on developing your vocabulary because I'll talk to my girlfriend / fiance apparently.
I'm just your girlfriend
you're
now.
that
is that
serious.
it?
You're that serious.
Well, she doesn't know though, but we need to have a talk. You know,
She listen to this.
she does actually. It's really weird.
Yeah, there's no good result.
No,
how much she cares.
That's true. But you know, we'll be tasting a beer, and I'll go, "What do you taste?" And she'll go, "Well, I don't want to say the wrong thing." And I try to tell her it's not wrong. It's what you taste, and we just need to work on the vocabulary together. And so we try to do that here on the show sometime. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we have Nicole Ernie on every once in a while, the Master Cicerone through the Cicerone program, and she's great. She's a great taster and maybe a better vocabularyist. If I can make up a word.
Well, you know, that's another interesting point, too. A lot of people think, well, women are better tasters than men.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I always say, yes, they are. Next question. But that's not necessarily the case. I mean, a lot of it has to do with your experience and your training, too. So this new company that I've started working with, I have my own consulting company where I work in the wine and, like I said, olive oil and beer industry, but this company called Flavor Active has done a lot of work with training panels in the beer industry, and so their data, after studying 40,000 different people, there is no statistically significant difference between men and women.
Uh-oh. If Nicole was here, she'd fly off the handle right now.
Wait, we're all equal?
Well,
it already happened.
Let me go back to something JP said
Just
a second
equal?
ago, though. Now, he said he wouldn't tell his girlfriend that she was, well, you can't be wrong, you're tasting what you're tasting, but looking at this kit that you've brought us that we're about to experience, maybe I'm thinking that's not true. Like you can be wrong. Like there is a certain off flavor, and if you think you're tasting something else, that's not true. That's not what's here. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if she describes something as what I meant to say, you know, if she describes something as, you know, I don't know, like cinnamon toast crunch or, you know, toast or whatever, but the proper word is bready, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, I see.
Not like
Yeah.
this this tastes like a green apple, but no, that's diacetyl.
Right,
It's
right.
not.
Okay.
It's not the same.
I gotcha.
But that is a good point. You know, obviously within definitions, there's there's a right and a wrong, but we haven't got there yet. We're still working on this. This tastes like blue.
It's a red Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I thought it was a beer.
This reminds me of Grandma's house.
Yeah, you're eating the couch, and it's not appropriate. Okay, so the Flavor Active packets, I dig these, man. They're little capsules. Bev, is this camera on? No, thank you. Check that out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, can you describe the kit, Sue?
They're pretty.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
The chemicals are in a blister pack. They're in capsules that are made in a pharmaceutical plant in Wales. And this company, Flavor Active, is based in the UK. And so they've contracted with this pharmaceutical plant to produce these kits in a GMP facility, good manufacturing practices, so no contamination or anything. So these chemicals are safe to put in the beer and taste it and smell it. So
okay, because there are some on the market,
Yes.
or there were, that you can only smell.
Correct.
But
Yep.
these you can actually
Yep.
ingest. Okay,
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
That's
These-
great.
And so the beginner kit has 5 different chemicals. They're encapsulated in a matrix where you pull the capsule apart and dump the contents into 1 liter of beer, and then it will disperse the the concentration that is usually at threshold level is determined by the American Society of Brewing Chemists.
Okay.
So if you want to make the concentration stronger, you would just use half the amount of beer and then empty the whole contents of the capsule in and train on that.
So how would you do that? So let's say I wanted to train on, papery.
Yeah.
Let's say, what would we do in class?
Well, let's see. I usually prepare the standards ahead of time and have them for the students already made up, and then they pour them out into wine glasses. Wine glass is a great shape of glass for learning because it concentrates the headspace in the top of the glass, and then you cover the glass so that you don't let those headspace gas evaporate or go out into the atmosphere, because really what you're smelling is the headspace gas above the liquid. You don't smell the liquid.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So we train on that, and then we start out with a high concentration, and then over the next few weeks we back it down. So it's not perceptible, but that's how they're training at breweries also.
So you kind of blast them with it to really solidify what this flavor is, and then you reduce it to see.
That's been my experience. And those that I don't get, if I get like a big dose of it, then I almost immediately learn to get the smaller doses. It's kind of interesting once you make the connection.
What do you mean?
And it is a connection.
No, you've got to get that smell in your memory bank.
Right. Oh, I see what you're saying.
If I'm talking about diacetyl and you've never smelled that, and if I say, oh, it smells like popcorn, movie theater butter on the popcorn, you have an anchor there because you've smelled that. So you have to just learn to put the name with that particular aroma.
Right.
Okay, so you're essentially replacing whatever real world references you have for isoamyl acetate, which is the banana ester.
Yeah.
Then you're relating that smell to the actual chemical.
Yeah.
Rather than rather than
the
a
word
picture.
is important because we all have different experiences.
Right.
So he was talking about it smells like my grandmother's closet. That can be a good thing for some people and a bad thing for other people.
I was locked in my grandmother's closet way too many times.
And not everyone's grandma's closet smelt the same.
Exactly.
Mothballs and formaldehyde.
Right. Or cedar and nice things.
Oh,
that's right.
You had a better grandma than I did.
Or that Kathy could ever find that died.
Okay, this is awesome. So we're gonna taste two examples of this, right, Scotty?
Yeah, we got one now in front of us.
Okay.
And so how are we doing this one?
I don't know. I think we're just going to smell it and see if we can figure it out.
Well, so is this where we should cap the top here and kind of spin it around?
If you can.
Kind of already should have been capped.
Smell like paper.
Well, you know what? Another thing too is that if you've got the best way to do this is take your beer that hasn't been treated. We don't have any.
Beer.
Yeah, a reference beer, right? And then you would smell that and get your anchor for your control
for that beer. Okay.
And then you would smell. And then compare this particular beer with the one that you've just.
I can go get a non.
No, that's okay. That's I think we're all experts here.
Yeah. Well,
she hasn't met all of us.
Right.
While you guys are smelling that, Kyle just texted me and said, "Game of Thrones, watching it now. Nothing to report."
Perfect.
Message us in 40 minutes.
So everyone's kind of smelling it.
He obviously hasn't gotten to the end yet.
I guess not.
Right.
I'm more interested in what Bev has to say about these things.
Yeah. You're participating in this one, Beaver.
Bev is more of our neophyte tester here.
Yeah, she also doesn't know what this is.
It tastes good.
That's true.
I don't know what.
What does it smell like?
Well, yeah. Just describe the smell. Don't say it smells like beer. I'll strangle
Was this the
you.
whole capsule?
No, it doesn't smell right.
Well, I hope not. It's not supposed to.
Well,
there is something wrong with this.
Well, Tasty doesn't know what it is.
It is wrong.
There are breweries that make beer that have this very flavor.
Yes, they sure
and
do.
they sell pint after pint at bar after bar.
It's not totally undesirable. That is true.
Yeah. So what you would do with this, let's say as a home brewer, maybe you sit at home, or more importantly at a club meeting. I think you pick up some of these packets and you sit around and you figure out, you key into these flavors to help you brew better beer. Obviously.
What you do is you take the packet over to the brewery that I'm talking about and you slap it on the table. I'm not leaving until you guys understand what this is.
I don't think Mitch would appreciate that very much. I think it's rude, and I'm going to tell him.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great calibration tool, especially for like a homebrew club or something like that. That way everybody gets the same, they experience the same exact beer and same exact flavor versus just saying, movie theater popcorn. Like, and you get a zeroing factor, so that way everybody gets a common language versus just hearing people say it, the words.
And if you do it at lower ppm, you'll find out which ones you're not sensitive to.
Oh,
So
yeah.
to know is important. Right?
Yeah.
Well, and this one changes flavors in concentration, too.
Mm-hmm.
And also the base beer, too.
Sure.
It depends
Right.
on what you're putting it in and how much of the chemical is already in the beer to begin with.
Yeah, which is why you would smell it first, or maybe use something that like some macro lager or something like
That's
a Coors
exactly
or
what we
something
use.
Like
We
that.
use
Heineken for skunked.
Yeah. Probably Budweiser because it's
use Budweiser.
Davis. Yeah, right. Yeah.
You guys are finance. You're
You got the Bud thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. It's a very clean, neutral beer.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm. No off
it
flavor.
works well.
Very well made.
Well, yeah, honestly, I think, Tasty, you're right. Like, this doesn't... if you would have just handed this to me normally, I don't know that I would have said anything's wrong with it, or just you kind of... at least I do, is just associate these flavors with, well, that's just beer.
There's some beers like this.
Yeah.
To me, this jumped to the extreme of what it's dosed with.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing is that this particular character can be described several different ways. So when it's in this high concentration, to me, I describe it more as the butterscotch aroma rather than just rancid butter.
This is sweet candy-like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is diacetyl.
Diacetyl.
Or diacetyl.
Diacetyl.
Diacetyl? How do you say it?
Dicatyl.
Wow.
Yeah, you tell us.
Pterodactyl is what it is.
Yeah, let's hear it. Because I get
Well, I say diacetyl.
Diacetyl.
I think that's the one thing we didn't say.
Yeah.
Right.
Diacetyl.
We could have combined the two.
Diactyl. I'll just spell it.
Diacetyl.
I think we should spell it like I'm
diacetyl.
talking in front of my cats or something like that. I would say dogs. I don't have any dogs.
Because your cats understand you when you spell.
They do.
Yeah.
So this is buttery.
Correct.
Well, I've had much more buttery beers than this.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I don't
Well, see,
understand.
that's
Like as a commercial brewer, even as a home brewer, I mean, that's what we want to do. Is we want to teach you that this is not. It's not an okay, flavor. And I think it's important as a burgeoning home brewer, as a budding home brewer, to pick that out immediately. I think these flavor kits or these sensory kits should come standard in every beginner homebrew kit.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And every Brewers Association membership after
Seriously.
And annually, so that way no one forgets.
Yeah, here's my thing. I think every BA member should, as a matter of like continuing education or something, put on a sensory course to their.
Sue should fly out to the brewery.
No, they should do it themselves.
No, Sue should do it. She needs to try.
Yeah,
It's a perk. It's a perk
Maybe they'll
for her.
be in denial. Like,
Yeah.
Or it could be a qualification for next year's membership. You have to pass
Butter
this.
tastes like our pale ale. I like this.
Yeah, seriously.
What are we, camera now? Come on. So we can taste this?
Yeah, sure.
I'm
Go
really
ahead.
nervous
Take
about it. I don't know.
It tastes like half the beers I've bought for Brewing with Style, frankly.
Oh, you've already tasted it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Bevo, you're a big fan, huh?
Oh, I can taste it much more than I can smell it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I
Something
feel
to
like
know.
this was sold in a green bottle.
So you get like skunky out of it. Really?
Huh.
I do.
I wonder if it's the hops, like like a vegetal tannin or something.
I do have a clean
You have
version
the
of the
clean
beer
version?
here. Yeah.
I don't have a drink.
Oh, you do. We need more glasses.
Well, this particular chemical, some people are blind to this and they can't smell it at all. I was doing
I know where they drink.
I was doing a project with determining the threshold concentration for this, and they sent around the most concentrated chemical and then added to the beer. There was one guy in my group who could not smell the most concentrated chemical. What do you do with him? I mean, he wanted to be a brewer, so he can still brew, but when
taste.
you're evaluating diacetyl, he just has to not be on the panel for that particular chemical.
Send him to England.
And
It'll be
just-
fine.
First of all, get a panel. So many brewers don't.
Right.
Well, and the problem with this glass is now it just smells like wet cardboard. Because when we wash the glasses and put them back in the case.
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
Oh, but yeah. So I just poured. I just poured a clean version of the beer.
Yeah, I just smell cheesy because of the cardboard. But yeah,
So
That's why for me,
describe the difference. Yeah.
For me, it jumped straight to butterscotch. I'm kind of through self-discovery, learning about myself. I'm really sensitive to diacetyl.
You're reading "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret."
Yeah, right. Are you there, diacetyl? It's me, Warren.
I can't see you.
That just jumped right to butterscotch for me. Like there wasn't even any like buttery popcorn, like movie theater popcorn. It just was.
See, you know what I'll get
butterscotch.
from this is sometimes people will describe some of these new hops as having a durian quality. During
that fruit.
Yeah,
everyone knows of it. How many people have actually had it? Have you?
Yeah,
really.
I hate it. It's disgusting.
Has anyone else in this room had it?
No.
We should get one. It's gross. It's really good, but it's butterscotch and onion and rose petal. So kind of some of these flavor descriptors for hops, some hops anyway. But that's what I smell. I smell like durian. I don't smell butterscotch.
Well,
to me,
that's what I was just going to say. That's a great point because since durian is not in my memory bank, I can't use that.
Right.
Sure.
Right. I'm going to refer to other things that are in my memory bank.
Yeah.
And to me, diacetyl, like in the first beer, to me, it added a cloying flavor. Like, it was so sweet to me that, to me, like, people are like, oh, this beer's cloying. And it's like, yeah, it's because it's full of diacetyl. It's not because they mashed too high or because the yeast dropped out too early. It's like, you have a fermentation issue.
Yes, and so while I can't smell it necessarily, but when I taste it, it's kind of slick, and it does have it kind of crushes the brightness of the bittering hops, but I think it still leaves some of that tannin structure behind from the vegetable matter. So you kind of get it, but not really, and it's very weird. It's unlike anything I've ever really done before.
It does have a mouthfeel aspect to it. It just is sort of oily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely ruins the finish of a beer.
Yeah.
It can be nice and crisp if you don't have it full of diacetyl.
People and to that point, Sue, I'm glad you brought that up because I've had a lot of people go, oh yeah, it has diacetyl, diacetyl in it. Can't you taste it? It's very slick, and I've always lied and said, oh yeah, sure, because I don't want to look like some of the moof that doesn't know. But using this, now I can run the base beer or the control and the standard or whatever. And I can feel that difference now. Mm-hmm. Now I don't have to lie anymore.
I want to get another blind taster on here too, because Marty's here. My dad's here. Yeah, and you're getting pretty deep into homebrewing, so it's time.
Just because he's getting older doesn't mean he's blind. That's rude.
Right. Yeah, he's deep, but he's not 6 feet under yet.
I'm actually brewing how JP does. I have the Pico brew, the Zymatic.
Yes,
that's my version.
That's
of
my brother right there. Yeah,
hey, that's about the only way I'll get into all.
I love
brewing.
it. So, what do you think about this, Marty?
Yeah, well, first smell and try because you don't know what's in here.
Does he have this side by side?
I don't know the additive, so
yeah. I have a clean version. That's a dirty version you're smelling there, and then I got a clean version for you to try next. But you don't know what this is, so see if you can describe what you're smelling and tasting.
Yeah, that slickness was crazy. Man.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting one to do different dosage rates side by side because it really changes.
Would you say, Sue, that this is like the most common flavor that you would find in beers?
Well, that's a good question. It depends on what type of beer you're brewing. Yeah, diacetyl is an issue. But you can also have DMS, the dimethyl sulfide canned corn issue. Mm-hmm. That's common with home brewers. And then you have the dirty type flavors that would be coming from microbiological contamination or not clean equipment.
Okay.
So what do you get there, Marty?
Which would also include
I sense that buttery diacetyl taste. It was pretty apparent.
Now try the clean version next to it. You can. I mean, it becomes much more pronounced.
And then go back to the.
I did do that, and it is very pronounced.
It is, right?
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Way to ruin a good beer. But
Scott, you want to do the other one?
Yeah. Let me go fill some more beer here.
We're gonna do another one here.
And so there are different levels of kits that you can get because the base kit just comes with 5.
Yeah,
Correct.
So you have the beginner sensory kit with diacetyl, isoamyl acetate, metallic, papery, and how do you say
butyric.
it? Butyric. Thank you. I want to say butyric, but
that's what percent of the, let's say in a commercial beer, off flavors would that encompass those 5? That's
a good question, and I think that I think that diacetyl, isoamyl acetate, and I haven't really experienced metallic. And papery for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But butyric, I don't really experience butyric much. I don't taste a lot of homebrew. So
you're lucky. You're blessed. Right.
And what we had been doing,
she's got to keep her senses working.
Instead of the butyric acid, would be isovaleric acid, which would be old hops and sort of cheesy component. Mm-hmm. And so that would be more apparent in a commercial beer.
Yeah. Okay. I've had the metallic, I think. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing about, if I had the kit and I was trained on it, I could pick it out.
I think old hops is a good one for home brewers also, just because homebrew shops don't get the best option at buying fresh hops, and so for homebrewers, they don't get the option to buy the freshest hops as well.
Yeah, sometimes it can be an issue.
Right. And so, but for the guys who are getting past having to deal with diacetyl, having to deal with DMS, when they get to where their beer's good, but they have a bad batch and like, what went wrong? I buy the same ingredients from these guys all the time. That way they can be like, this is an old hop.
It could
flavor.
be a number of things.
I actually have a question on old hops and that cheesy flavor. I did a homebrew about a month ago, and I opened up the hop package, and it was fresh hops, and it was immediately apparent that these were no good. I mean, I had that cheesy smell. So why would anybody use it? Because I didn't. I said, I'm not brewing with this.
What kind of hops were they?
Oh, gosh, I knew you'd ask me that. I think they were Centennial.
Were they brown or really light green in color?
Really light.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've obviously been oxidized.
But it was a sealed, it was...
sure.
Yeah.
But at some point they could seal it at the end.
You could have made a lambic beer, because traditionally those hops those beers are brewed with old hops like that.
Out of my wheelhouse.
You'd have to yeah.
Well, the reason is that most people don't know if something is defective or not.
Right.
Too. So they have to be educated, and that's what these kits are for. And so once you recognize that smell, then you know, oh, okay, that is considered a defect, so I'm not going to use that. And then it gives everybody in the whole process information about what went wrong or what particular, if it's a brewing process or an ingredient issue, too.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually have information rather than... something's wrong here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How can you take action if you don't know what it is?
Well, yeah, and then you go on a forum and you put we have a forum on our website, and you'll post there. And, but it's like, well, you don't. There's no guarantee that Smiling Ted knows what the hell he's talking about either, and he's trying to tell you what you did, and it's. But this way you can know. God, this would be so valuable for homebrew clubs, man.
So now, before you dump the second pill in here, does everyone have still clean beer in their glass? Because I want you to have a clean sample.
I do keep some of that, yes.
All right, cool. So can you do the next one
We need
here?
a dump to get rid of the dirty glasses.
Oh, yeah, use this glass as a dump bucket there.
Oh, well, we're going to have both flavor smells in the same glass.
Can we get some...
Oh, you want new glassware?
Yeah.
Well, for a different flavor, I think we should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. So that was the beginner.
Warren's going to smell the diacetyl.
Yeah. So the beginner, we got the basic 5, and then the enthusiast brewer sensory kit kind of goes a little bit deeper. You get light struck.
Everybody should smell the empty glass first to see if there's any
light struck.
Little cardboardy, right?
Mm-hmm. Mercaptan. What is Mercaptan? Mercaptan, my captain.
Mercaptan is the chemical that they put in natural gas so that it will smell.
Oh,
it
really?
is not natural gas by itself has no aroma. So it smells like onions, garlic. Everyone in the world theoretically can smell that.
Okay.
I see.
On the card, the notes that came in the card, it says Mercaptan is a drain-like flavor.
Mm-hmm. Well, these people are British, and so they don't really... I don't know if they have...
they don't have natural gas over there.
Flavor with a U, yeah. That occurs because of yeast during fermentation or maturation. A drain-like, so like a funky drain. Anyone who worked in a restaurant knows that smell, like slimy grossness.
Yeah, or if you've pulled a clump of hair out of your guest bathroom drain or something, it's wretched smell. Ugh.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take some of that. So are we doing this one? We're not saying which one this is?
Yes, I think we should get our newbie tasters here to...
and this is a higher concentration, too, because we got less beer in the pitcher. Instead of 2 full pints, it's just like 1.5.
Yeah, I'm just going to do this. Okay, so it'll be more focused.
It's like training wheels.
Yes. Bev, do you have some of this?
Yeah, let me get you some.
Do you want some of this?
No, she doesn't, but she's going to have some.
Yeah, I didn't answer that on purpose.
You don't have a choice. Scott's going to make you drink it.
I don't have a glass.
You get the pitcher. It's fine.
I don't want
Yeah,
the
see,
pitcher.
this is more common, I think, in home brewing. I don't know if I've ever had a commercial beer like this, but this is a funky smell.
I think you've had a commercial beer like this.
Yeah, you and I have had it together.
Yeah, multiple times.
I like togetherness stories.
Yeah, right. I mean, you and me drinking beer.
Drinking bad beer.
Yeah,
sounds like a good night. Marty, what do you think? I see your gears turning.
I'm just smelling it. I haven't tasted it yet, but it's not an obnoxious smell that I'm smelling yet.
Okay.
So
okay.
This really comes through on the flavor, too.
Mm-hmm.
This is more. Some of these are going to be more flavor than aroma.
Yes.
Okay. This one is more flavor driven.
Okay.
Well, actually, flavor is in-mouth aroma. So as you put the beer in your mouth, the chemicals are going to volatilize up to the olfactory bulb, and so that's what's called retronasal aroma.
Okay. Retronasal. Is that like hipsters? I don't know. Maybe.
It's aroma before it was cool.
Right. Marty, what do you think? He's like, I can't do it.
He made a face.
I made a face. I'm not sure I can describe it, but I can say it's not pleasant.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Think about it. Give me a shot. Take a shot at describing it.
It almost has a metal-like taste to me, metallic taste, but it could be just my taste buds reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to? I can't take another taste.
Yeah.
You don't have to take.
It's
but
really
just
unpleasant.
Drink the whole thing.
Do I have? Yeah. Until you can describe it.
If you could, exactly.
All right, Bev, try.
If you chug, you really get the off flavor.
You have to stand on your head, though.
Evo's making a face, too.
Bev, what do you describe this? Try to describe this. I'm curious to see.
Sure, one eye twitch.
Great job, Bev.
Yeah. Amazing.
Right.
It's not good. I can tell you that.
Oh,
it's got flavors.
See, exactly. My face was that sound. I agree with Marty. It definitely has like a penny kind of taste, like a metallic sort of underlying
Copper.
funk.
Okay.
Yeah, like you licked a coin.
A little bit, yeah. I also maybe it's the beer, but I taste corn.
It might be the beer.
Like it might be the style of beer.
Yeah, that might be the beer.
We're using a pilsner. I think it might be a little.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little too hoppy for it. But
it's okay. It's a not a very hoppy pilsner.
This is a
maybe
great,
hoppy for
This is a
pills.
great style of beer to taste this off flavor in.
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Because it's often in it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Does that come from cold fermentation?
No, this is a. Well, I mean, if I tell you where it comes from, you'll know what it is.
Tasty, you know what? Do you know what this is?
I think it's DMS, right?
It's butyric.
No,
it's not. She switched it up on you. She switched it up on you.
Damn it, Sue! What a jerk!
Yeah, I was like, this is not butyric.
That's what I'm like. Well, I'm glad you said that because I was about to lie. And I'm like, wow, I don't really smell. It doesn't taste like, but I'm just going to go with it.
I know I'm wrong.
So what? Okay, you misled us.
Good
what is
work,
this?
Sue.
Yeah,
Hats off.
she did.
Yeah.
All right. It is, drum roll,
Don't ever do that again.
papery.
She told me.
Papery?
Yep.
What?
Oxidation, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, and so this just is an example of if you have a preconceived notion, you're going to look for that particular thing. In
No kidding.
So,
Metallic is kind of close.
It is. It was.
It has a metallic, but yeah, papery.
Yeah.
But then the DMS is coming out also, so
Sure.
it's all sort of intertwined. But that's the reason that we want to just really, zap it with that particular aroma and flavor. And then
I blame bad breweries that have multiple bad flavors. So I could associate.
That's a good point.
Associate papery with DMS because they got both issues.
Right. Yeah. You're doing your job so bad.
Wow.
It's your fault for me not telling which bad flavors in here.
Yeah, it's I blame my teachers for not teaching me algebra properly. This is what it is. I don't know. I don't understand.
It's their fault.
All beer tastes
Your beer
like
has
this.
all the flavors.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Well, with some of these other kits, too, they don't have just defects. They'll have positives, too. So hop oil, for example, and grainy is another descriptor. So those are more in the enthusiast and the professional kits. So,
and then you have stuff like ethyl butyrate.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yep.
See, I could be a doctor.
Wow, you're a scientist.
Thank you. A tropical fruit flavor with a U that is produced by yeast during brewing can also indicate bacterial problems.
I don't see that one very often, but it's in the kit.
How would you know the difference?
That's
I guess
a good question, and I think you actually have to evaluate it from a chemical standpoint.
Okay.
So you have to do a chemical test to confirm what it is you're smelling and tasting.
That's probably more for people on the commercial side,
Yes.
not the home brewer kind of
exactly.
thing. Yeah, because what hops you're going to use. So if they're not tropical, there you go.
Oh, a gas chromatographer is not with your entry level home brewing kit.
That's the intermediate.
Comes with a funnel and one of those.
Right. Yeah.
You have Caddy.
Yep,
Which,
that's a good one.
If Jay was here, we would make him do that one.
Oh yeah.
It's black currant or tomcat urine.
Yeah.
That's a scale that I don't want to live on, man. It's either currant or urine.
Right.
Yeah, black currant bud. That's a descriptor that the people in wine use for Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
So if a really grassy, herbaceous Sauvignon Blanc, black currant bud, or gooseberry if you're from New Zealand or Australia, down under. So,
or when the winery cat pees in the barrel.
Yeah,
right.
That's it.
Yeah.
It has to be a tomcat, though.
Oh.
Tomcat urine.
Yeah. Not a Siamese. Geraniol.
Yeah, geraniol. It was a classic defect. It smells of geraniums.
Mm-hmm.
But again, another microbiological issue that has been sort of pushed to the wayside with cleanliness. As brewers clean up their act, that particular defect goes away. Along the same vein as ropey beer.
Okay, yeah. H2S, which is that sulfur.
Hydrogen sulfide, rotten egg, smells like a fart.
What do you use for some of these? I mean, I can imagine some people farting in one of these. And
they fart in a capsule, and then send it
it's
out.
hard to capture, but it's worth it.
Like for sour, for example, how do you capture sour as a flavor and encapsulate it?
It's citric acid.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's
There you
easy.
Yeah, an easy one.
There are different
How do they do the
types
farts?
of
That's what I
sour,
wanna know.
but they describe that one as lemony sour, so
Yeah.
kind of citric acid.
Biting into a fresh lemon imparted by raw materials or bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
How would what kind of raw material? Like just a grain default, or like if I was a commercial brewer and I did that, I was like, oh, this tastes like my beer.
I'm not sure. Maybe it's.
If you accidentally
know.
got a bag of acidulated malt after tasting that sample, you would know that your malt's been sprayed with acid.
That's what it is.
Compared to base malt.
Oh, yeah. You're like, oh,
or your
that's
regular base
terrible.
malt.
Wow, that's so cool, man.
these
I
are
wish I
great.
was smarter and I could be a flavor sensory person.
Just read those brochures more often.
I like to send those in plain brown envelopes to some breweries.
Well, actually, you just have to practice, and it doesn't have to be with beer. And so that's what I was telling the students too. If you just leave the windows open in your car and you're driving around, just practice putting labels to what you're smelling.
Oh yeah,
It's
there you
really
go.
a great tool.
Connect the dots.
And if you're in your kitchen, take your spices out of the spice rack, open them up, smell them. Just try to put labels to what you're smelling. It really helps quite a bit.
Is there any sort of guidelines you would give for tasting it? So let's say we got these for our homebrew club. Not to eat spicy food beforehand. Like it's all just kind of like is it general tasting?
Protocols.
Guideline. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have protocols that have been specified when we're tasting olive oil, for example. But I think that the best time to taste is right before a meal, usually lunchtime. We call it pre-prandial. Before a meal,
sounds fancy.
Yeah. You're most attentive Think about after a meal. You're kind of tired. You're full. You're not very attentive. So before the meal, you're sharp. You're ready for some food to come into your stomach, and so you're the most sensitive then. And so, don't eat garlic. But usually, like, for example, people think smoking, people who smoke aren't very good tasters. That's not necessarily
that's not
the
true.
case. No.
I mean, I know one example.
I'm gonna go back to
from
smoking
Lynn
now.
from, was she from Environment?
No,
Was she with Environment? No, it's Siebel. Yeah. Chain smoker.
Yeah.
But
She's
supposedly
tough,
she has like the best palate ever that's ever been invented. Why is that?
Okay, well, what it is usually the people who smoke, they will smell like smoke. Smoke is on their clothes. It comes out of their pores. And so it's not their ability to taste. They have their mouth has sort of a background of an ashtray.
They're calibrated to
Yeah,
that.
they're calibrated to the ashtray.
So they can look through it
So
almost.
they smell their hand.
Right.
They smell smoke. That's
Exactly.
what they're calibrated.
And so, but if you're the smoker, all I'm smelling is you because it's on your clothes and you're distracting me.
Yeah,
So-
you might be a good taster, but you're still an asshole.
You just have to be right by yourself when you taste.
So it doesn't affect your palate or your taste buds or anything, like nothing
Evidently
physically that way anyway.
That's how you become the best palate in the room. Be a chain smoker.
You just
'Cause then you're
screw
throwing
with
everyone
everybody.
else off.
Yeah, that's
Well-
amazing.
Only one in the room.
That's right. But what happens is over time, taste buds die and they're regenerated. The lifespan of a taste bud is only like 30 days. So the older you get, the slower your taste buds regenerate. So, but that's made up with practice and with experience. So at some point, that's with older people, you have to make food stronger because they say food loses flavor. So if you go into a retirement home, food is really salty and really sweet.
Yeah.
Is the same with your olfactory sensors too? Or not as much?
No, not as much.
Is that a smelling?
Yes.
Right, inside your nose.
With your smell place.
Right.
Okay.
You have a factory in your nose.
Shit. Is it union? Because that's not cool.
Well, it's an olfactory.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No.
Dumb joke.
People do lose some of their sense of smell over time, but it's usually the sense of taste.
Okay.
That goes far quicker. Okay. So I see you have a flavor wheel also, the defect. Is it the defect flavor wheel?
Yes, well, it's called the Defects Wheel for Beer, and this is something that I created when I was teaching the students at the Master Brewing Program. And so it works very well with the flavor active capsules. So this is actually set up for brewers and avid home winemaker or avid brewers also. So you wouldn't, have it at the bar. Most people don't come and look at it and say, "What's wrong with this beer?" But so, for example, if your beer smells like around the perimeter, it will say, "What is the beer? What are the descriptors?" Canned corn, molasses, or vegetal, for example, and then it'll say the molecule responsible. Dimethyl sulfide gives you the chemical formula of that. Where would it come from in the brewing process? And the typical concentration found in a beer and the threshold concentration. So I've got about 12 descriptors around there. And then on the other side, if you're the brewer, where does it come from and how to get rid of it?
Oh, wow.
So
that's more important.
Yeah, well, it's a very handy tool.
Yeah.
It's very important, the whole thing. So if you're studying to take a test for the Brewers Association, I'd be a certified beer judge. I mean, everything is in one place for that particular test.
And where can you find that wheel?
Well, I've got them on my website for sale.
What's your website?
My website is www.appliedsensory.com.
Nice.
And can you get the kits there as well?
Yes, I'm going to put a link on. Like I said, I just started working with these people, so I'm going to put a link on my website, and I am selling these also. So you could get the kit and the defects wheels.
These are great. I mean, really, for like your next homebrew meeting, this is a perfect thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If we were a real homebrew club, we would do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just keep in mind, it's 1 liter pour, so if you've got 50 members,
correct,
you need multiple kits.
Yeah.
Right.
Tasty, this is a quote you can get behind. Just because you don't smell something bad doesn't mean the chemicals are not present in the beer.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, man. Do you get a lot of people bringing their homebrew to you, like school? Because I imagine the college
a lot of the students must be homebrew.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, they are. That's how they
can
come.
You please just, I mean, I know, but come on, just taste it.
No, they don't do that.
Nor do I encourage it.
They don't want to hear the bad news.
Yeah.
Put the hammer down on them as an example, I assume.
Well,
they don't want to do it.
No, I'm teaching them how to do it.
All right.
So,
All right. Well, you don't settle bets and stuff like, this guy said my beer's got this. I say it doesn't.
He says cat pee. I say black currant. Which is it?
Neither. You're both dumb.
Yeah. Now you know your beer's just awful.
I'm going to be using you to settle bets. I'm going to get your number.
Yeah, and you have a whole list of 35 keys to preventing beer defects on the list. Practice good sanitation. Mash for under 2 hours.
Yeah, and they're all applied to the things within the wheel there.
Oh, wow.
So there's a number.
So you go
Why do you say under 2 hours?
Well, it depends on the issue that you're having there.
Oh,
so I work with the brewers to come up with those technical things.
8. So I'm spinning around looking for the 8 here.
No, counterclockwise.
Oh wait,
sort of using it
I'm using it the wrong way. Oh, see, there we go. So
reverse engineering it.
See, this is how smart I am, Sue. I was already on the one that had 8, and then I spun it all the way around. So if you have a vinegar sour, so a possible cause is metabolic byproduct of yeast, metabolic byproduct of contaminating bacteria, mashing too long, excessive acid rest, storage at warm temps, and then down below she has possible treatment. There is no, don't do those things.
Well, yeah.
But you don't want to say that because that's not really.
Try harder next time.
Yeah, and then possible prevention, and then so she has listed 1, which would be practice good sanitation techniques. 8, which is the mash one. 21, use a closed fermenter. Makes sense. You know, you're probably getting some wild nonsense. 27, avoid over-oxygenating after fermentation. 31, store beer in a cool location. That's rad.
Those are great.
Those are good tips, too, for people.
Yeah.
Like, I taste these things. How do I fix it?
So you should open a homebrew shop.
Well, the thing is with a lot of these is that once it's in your beer, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah. But still knowing for the next time.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I have the same information on an app also.
Oh, what's the app?
So the app is called Beer Defects.
Okay.
So iPhone, iPad, and Android.
That was almost going to be the title for this show.
No Windows
Beer
phone?
defects.
There's a Windows phone. I don't know if you knew that, but we learned that last week on this show.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I haven't programmed for that.
I wouldn't worry about it.
we had
Two guys out there very upset.
Right. Yeah, we had some listener go, your app used to be in the Windows phone. I'm like, what are you even talking about? I don't even think that was us.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
That's a great wheel.
That's well done, and it's concise too. It's not overly verbose or anything. It's just this is what's wrong with it. And then on the other side, you have the I like it. You give the chemical formula. That's kind of cool.
You should have a feelings wheel that comes with it, so that way it makes people feel better about having screwed up their batch of beer.
How should I feel about this? Embarrassed. Oh, shit. That sucks. Sue, I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you very much for coming in. What's your website? One more time.
www.appliedsensory.com.
Okay.
APPLIEDSENSORY.
And the Flavor Active Craft Brewers Sensory Kits. Where can we get those?
You can get them on my website. I will have them posted up there soon.
Okay,
and
perfect.
you can buy them through the purchase online, PayPal, and I will send them to you. So
Excellent.
You can also buy each one of these chemicals individually in packs of 5 or 10. So let's say you need to practice on diacetyl or one particular chemical, you can just get that chemical by itself and practice on that.
So as a club, maybe do one off flavor a month,
Right.
Yeah, or maybe give your palate a break because
5 liters of beer.
You're probably tasting that off chemical, whatever.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't recommend this enough to homebrew clubs. This is amazing.
Oh my God, yeah. A service you can do to your club members is to make them aware of all these off flavors.
Yeah.
And they, as people that talk to a lot of other people in beer, can bring them along as well. And those people I'm talking about are a lot of times the people that order beer at bars. They don't know the off flavors themselves.
Yeah. Well, Moskowitz, whatever the plural of Moskowitz is. Do you want people knowing this stuff? So you go, I order a beer at this bar. No, it tastes like baby sick.
I want our GM knowing it, but I don't want the patrons.
Right.
That's all you need. It's only place.
You're not going to sell it in the front of the house.
He knows them all.
Once they tell people, they'll stop buying it.
That's awesome. I dig this. I wish I had this when I was more willing to learn what I'm doing wrong in life.
Well, but now you and the other Moskowai over here, it's irrelevant because you got the Pico Brew and it's doing everything for you.
Yeah, nine out of the 10 errors have been removed for me and done by a robot. So
you'll still manage to figure out how to do the one.
No matter how bad you push the button.
I already have. Don't even worry about it.
So have I.
It's The Session. We'll be right back. We'll do a little bit of beer news and continue hanging out. Stay with us.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Beer tasting games that train your palate, a brewery locator, and the brand new interactive beer style guide. These are just a few of the awesome things you'll find on craftbeer.com. The style guide is a beautiful example of technology in beer. Browse beer style families or turn on the automatic beer style finder and explore beer through color, bitterness, ABV, aroma, and flavor. It's really the coolest way to explore every beer style besides having them all in front of you. Go to craftbeer.com and click on Beer Styles to start the guide. Plus, enjoy the rest of craftbeer.com, the Brewers Banter blogs, beer education, how to host a beer tasting, and the invaluable Draft Quality Manual. Tons of great content that makes your beer better. Visit the new craftbeer.com right now and explore the website that brings you all the passion, camaraderie, and creativity of the craft beer community. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer. Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
BN Army, I'm here to talk seriously for a second. You all are partially responsible for something explosive, and it's time you answer for it.
Moonlight Meadery is exploding.
Yeah, exploding across the country. Wait, they just landed in Australia with insane quality meads.
With nearly 70 different varieties of mead on the market, Moonlight Meadery has blown up the mead category and completely reinvented it.
Seriously?
What?
Seriously?
What?
You're paying money for that watered-down mead when you could have a Moonlight mead?
Moonlight meads explode with quality and flavor.
They're a party in a bottle. Did someone say party?
If you want mead and want the best, you want meads from Moonlight Meadery and will accept nothing less.
And now get 15% off by going to moonlightmeadery.com/BNArmy and use coupon code BNArmy at checkout.
Hey, sign me up for that party.
Attention home brewers, if you like making labels for your handcrafted awesomeness and wished more people could see how great you are, then check this out. GrogTag, the makers of custom reusable labels, and craftbeerandbrewing.com are hosting the first ever National Homebrew Label Awards. The top 10 labels will be featured at the 2015 National Homebrewers Conference in San Diego to more than 5,000 attendees, and more than $2,500 in prizes will be awarded. If you've created a label at any time in the past year, you're eligible to enter. GrogTag and Craft Beer and Brewing have teamed up with great sponsors like More Beer and the Brewing Network to make this competition a great one to enter. Submit your entries between March 1st and June 1st for your chance at fortune and glory at homebrewlabelawards.com. That's homebrewlabelawards.com. Submit your label entries today. Good luck, and we'll see you in San Diego.
Segmented, demented, fermented.
It's the session.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. Thank you, Scott. We're going to do a little bit of beer news. Everyone's favorite segment. We need some weird, crazy, like circus music for you. For
Why?
beer. Because it's totally not your personality. The juxtapitation would be amazing. And you're like, and then today, the depressing thing happened. And yeah, it'd be amazing. Beer news. Who's beer news brought to us by?
Wine and Hop Shop.
Wine and Hop Shop.
One of our newest sponsors, the Wine and Hop Shop out in Madison, Wisconsin, bringing you beer news today. A couple of good stories this week, too.
All right.
A new paper in the Journal of Nature Chemical Biology suggests that yeast can be modified to produce opiates from sugar. So, I mean, albeit not without a whole lot of biological expertise, but we can ask Chris White about this. So, in other words, drugs can be made at home the same way you guys create beer. Since the yeast will not convert the sugar to alcohol, it would convert it to opiate.
Oh, wow.
Theoretically. So researchers...
WLP 999, huh?
Researchers warn that regulators should act quickly to keep homebrewers from figuring out the process for themselves. But, it's going to take a little bit...
We're all like microbiologists.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's going to take more than a microscope for now. So creating the same opiates poppies do, which, your morphines, your oxycodones...
Yeah, I got some right here. Do you want some? Or heroin.
Yeah. Can I score some?
Yeah, I got it right here. I'll shoot you up.
It's an intriguing prospect from a pharmaceutical standpoint. Cultivating yeast is a lot simpler than growing fields of poppies, and yeast-borne opiates have more potential to be tweaked slightly for like specific medical purposes.
So you're saying that the compounds that are similar to opiates are in the yeast already from fermenting sugars. Like, it's not like they're taking plant matter and like the opium, fermenting it down to distilling that. It's yeast and sugar and makes.
That's my understanding.
Black tar hair.
A pool of carbohydrates. And just to get the right yeast, it'll pull the right ones and do its thing, I guess.
Well, and just changing their DNA a little bit will change kind of their metabolic process. And so they'll take the same sugars and just make different byproducts from those things.
What?
Like the cells in your muscles and stuff are one little strain of DNA away from, instead of creating lactic acid, which makes your muscles sore and ache, you could be actually making alcohol, and then you'd be getting drunk the more you exercised. But
it's like it's like 99%. It's like 1% change could make it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's just a tiny change. And so, you could do the same with yeast, and it could make all sorts of different things.
I feel like we should have known this earlier.
No, it just came out.
In the evolution. No, but like in the evolution of science.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We're not dumb.
Well, so here's lead author John Duber of UC Berkeley. His quote. He
More
said,
like Doobie.
He said, it's hard to add or subtract genes into the plant, and plants grow very slowly, whereas we can easily put in different DNA and change combinations of genes in yeast, and yeast can double every 2 hours. So in the new paper, Doobie and his colleagues tweaked an enzyme in yeast, allowing it to turn sugar into reticulin. Reticulin isn't an actual opiate, but it's a chemical precursor that can be used to make morphine and codeine, among other drugs. Doobie estimates that a strain of yeast allowing for the complete formation of opiates from sugar could be just a year or two away. Wow. His quote goes on to say, what you really want to do from a fermentation perspective is be able to feed the yeast glucose, which is, cheap sugar source, and have the yeast do all the chemical steps required downstream to make your target therapeutic drug. With our study, all the steps have been described, and it's now a matter of linking them together and scaling up the process. It's not a trivial challenge, but it's very doable.
Yeah.
And by therapeutic, medicine, they just mean, sitting on the corner. Yeah. Slinging it. I got that yeast block. Give me some yeast blocks.
Home cider and winemaking will take off like crazy once
that
yeast hits
can you
the market.
imagine?
Yeah, I mean, it would be like what the meth trade was for home brewing in the late '90s, where people would come in. Oh, do you have any glass vials? I need to send some yeast starters, for analysis.
Sir, why are you scratching your arm so hard?
We would get that at More Beer. People go, they pick up plastic racking arms and they go, do you have this in glass? Seriously?
Wow, really?
Yeah, and they would just buy flasks of different sizes, and so you just sit there and mess with them. You go, yeah. So what are you going to brew some beer? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What are you going to mash in that? Oh yeah. And then what do you like? Leave it in the sun like a sun tea? Yeah. What's your name? I don't want to be in the system. Oh, weird. Here's cash. Oh, even double weird.
How common was this?
All hundreds.
So they still need to be as conscientious about sterilization?
I would imagine not.
They welcome the contamination, I think.
It was coming for a bit, but, we cut that out. It was fine.
Oh, man.
And what about baking with this special yeast strain? You could get some opiate bread.
Opiate edibles?
Yeah, just bread. You just bake it right in.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
There you go, Tasty. You'll be out of a job.
So now there are definitely people clamoring.
Retirement plan.
Tasty in the 21st century.
Or that is your retirement plan.
Next year, baby.
There was some commentary.
Out there.
Welcome to the future.
Yeah.
Some commentary on the journal article. There was one guy who said that regulations need to be put into place to make brewing with engineered yeast at home illegal. So now, isn't all yeast engineered? Like, I mean, if you get something from White Labs, that's engineered, is it not?
No, this is like
it's
GMO
cultured.
Yeast. What this article is talking about is like GMO yeast.
Yeah,
genetically modified.
Yeah, they're not
White
modifying
Labs is
the DNA. It's just cultured and pared down.
White Labs is just growing yeast that they've harvested.
Yeah,
I see.
You take a sample and then you rub it, put slant it out on a plate, and then you pick those cultures that grow better. So you're selecting it, but you're not actually modifying it.
Okay, got it. Well, so some people that were responding to that comment were saying, if it turns out to be as simple as brewing beer at home, well, then having that regulation would create a black market demand for the yeast, so you're not really going to stop this yeast. If it's figured out, people are going to want it. People are going to get it.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's an interesting development for yeast.
That's a whole new show for us.
No kidding.
There's that new content.
The Opiate Network.
Well, it's just brewing something different.
Yeah.
Instead of beer, it's just broadening our market.
Right. So now moving on to Florida. where we've done a fair amount of reporting on some of the weird distribution laws. And you remember growler laws? You couldn't have growlers in Florida. Well, that has finally come to an end.
No growlers in Florida?
Yes, growlers in Florida.
Oh, yes, growlers.
Yes, starting July 1, Florida breweries will be able to sell beer in growlers. Governor Rick Scott has signed into law a measure that ends the growler war over craft beer that's been going on for several years already now. Scott said in a statement, quote, "By making the sale of growlers legal in Florida, we are eliminating another burdensome regulation and allowing more Florida businesses to succeed." End quote. Current law allows, this is the ridiculous part, 32-ounce growlers and 128-ounce growlers, but not the size in the middle, 64, which is the growlers everybody uses. Brewers and craft beer fans are saying that's the best size, and obviously it is.
Yeah.
The most popular, makes the most sense.
What happens?
The legislation could help to end a long war between craft brewers and big beverage distributors over regulation of beer sales, in which the growler basically became a pawn.
It's not ending the war. It's just that the growler people won.
Yeah, well, right.
That'll end the war. It's not like they got a truce.
Here's a quote from Mike Halker, the president of the Florida Brewers Guild, and he also owns Due South Brewing out in Boynton Beach. He said, quote, "Growlers will give our customers more choices, increase our sales, and directly benefit Florida and its taxpayers." So craft beer's into this, obviously.
Yeah.
This legislation also lifts the problematic requirements that craft breweries operate as tourist attractions, a holdover from the days when the law was intended to benefit Tampa's Busch Gardens. Distributors said lifting the limits on craft brewery operations could open the way for large beer manufacturers to dominate the market by opening many small tasting rooms and selling only their own beer. So that's the distributor's argument. To prevent a large brewer from taking over the retail market, the bill limits breweries to selling their beer at 8 locations. So you can have no more than 8 locations.
That's pretty fair. I mean,
that's a lot of locations.
That's pretty good. In the same state.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so there you go. Big win in Florida. You can actually act like a human being and fill up a growler.
Well, 1 out of 2.
Hey, Florida, check out this new thing, growlers.
Yeah.
The homeless guy does it to me all the time in Florida. It's weird.
All right, and one final one. This is a big one. London's Meantime Brewing has been bought by S.A.B. Miller.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're no longer craft?
Well,
sellouts?
Who owns them?
Well, if you ask Nick Miller, Meantime's chief executive, he actually has some kind of controversial comments about craft beer.
Nick Miller?
Yeah, the guy from New Girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, and also S.A.B. Miller.
You guys want to talk about the OC, too?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever. Anyway, go ahead. What does Mr. Miller have to say about Miller?
He said that the craft tag was increasingly redundant and that selling to the world's second biggest brewer would not harm the company's reputation, built up over 16 years as a standalone producer. His quote is, "I think the term craft will disappear. It will become the norm that we have craft beer, whether the brewer is big or small. If you stay true to what you believe in, which is high-quality premium beers, I think the drinker will welcome that." He went on to say, "Why would Meantime suddenly not be craft beer? Because it's got a different set of shareholders." Are we saying that the shareholders determine whether we are craft or not? This morning, I had no different values than the ones I had yesterday. So this kind of plays into what your point and many others' points, JP, which is that I care what it is, not who made it.
Right. I like using the word beer, not craft beer, because it shouldn't matter. It's in the 90s we probably needed it to differentiate, but now it is what it is. Craft beer has become the norm. Even though the market share doesn't really play out like that, but in my life it has.
There are a lot of people that are troubled with that sound logic that he's talking about.
No.
So his logic is that S.A.B. Miller wants to keep Meantime exactly like it is.
Yes.
Or let it grow as it was going to normally grow anyway.
And maybe just
They're
accelerate
not going to
it a
replace the
little bit.
80-barrel fermenters with 1,000-barrel fermenters because they got more capital.
I mean, hopefully, I think history has played out where that isn't always the case, and it turns out that the smaller breweries that get bought out by the larger ones do kind of change, formulas or flavor or whatever. But
and even if it does change, there's 100 new breweries opening up next year that will probably brew something decent that you can drink and will forget about Meantime the way it used to be in the next year or so anyway. So why even care?
Yeah, well,
why care about anything?
Yeah, here's a knife.
Yeah, right.
I mean, to your point, that Britain has experienced, like everywhere, but a big surge in craft brewing, which is actually a crazy part about this. I guess pubs in Britain are closing at the rate of about 30 a week.
Wow.
Which is crazy. But numbers of breweries has increased by 10% over each of the past years.
That seems
2
like
years.
that seems like an insane number because, and how many weeks would it take for every pub to shut down?
Makes you wonder how many there are in Britain.
Yeah,
I know. Every second storefront is a freaking pub.
Right.
So there's more than 1,400 breweries now in Britain, the most since the 1940s, which was another crazy thing.
Yeah.
They had as many breweries. Craft beer was as popular. Craft beer, they had more breweries in 1940 than they did today.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's counterintuitive. That certainly wasn't true for the United States.
Yeah,
I guess they didn't have prohibition.
No, they really didn't.
Well, they had small regional, if not village-sized breweries. I mean, it was just every town had a brewery.
Totally. Yeah. Meantime was founded in '99 by Alistair Hook in Greenwich, and they operate 2 pubs, the Greenwich Union and the Old Brewery Bar. It was an undisclosed sum. We don't know how much SAB Miller paid for it, but they're trying to give Meantime a presence. Obviously in the craft beer segment, which is really fast growing, but it's trying to export to all of Europe. So you can already find Meantime in the States, you find it in Britain, and they're trying to make it go for all of Europe as well.
You can even find it, I think, in Concord up at Monument. I think they have Meantime every now and then.
Sure. Oh,
I've never had it.
You can find it at...
I haven't either.
At Bevmo and all
Seriously?
that?
You guys never had it?
No.
Yeah, you can find it at Bevmo as well. It's ubiquitous if you're looking for it.
To me, the word meantime, it's like, here's a filler beer in between the beers you're going to try that are better anyways.
I see.
Yeah, in the meantime,
Right.
drink this.
Yeah,
It is a weird name, yeah.
Yeah. But, I don't know, I'm not English.
Yeah, all right, so there you go. That's the news brought to you by Wine and Hop Shop. Go to wineandhop.com. If you live in Madison, Wisconsin, you can go put your money where Jamil's mouth is and support your local homebrew shop. If you would like to order online, you can enter BN shipping in the notes field of your shopping cart, and you will get $8 flat rate shipping on anything under 50 pounds. So order away at wineandhop.com.
I just assumed it was Greenwich Mean Time.
Yeah.
No, that's what their name
The
is.
one true time. That's all it is. Well, you might not be wrong, Marty. I don't know. We should get him on the air just to ask him that question, and then okay, thanks. It was a burning.
We'll have to figure out a way to let them know we're on their side. Like, hey, we still think of you as good. We don't care about craft beer, or do we? I don't know.
Well, we're a craft podcast,
right? You want to sponsor us?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think we're like 80% filler, so I don't know. Maybe it's.
Well, you can listen to us in the meantime.
Right, that'll be great for meantime.
Yeah. In between Dan Carlin's Hardcore History and This American Life, you can listen to us.
Yeah. Oh man! You know what? I forgot to ask Kyle about the origins for String Cheese Incident. Ever since we got in the studio and started talking about where he's from, everyone's like, "Where does that name?" I forgot to ask him.
Well, that's actually not a bad thing because that could be the most effed out question on the planet. Asking a band where they got their name.
Yeah.
How many times do you think he's answered that?
I don't
He's
know.
probably thrilled we didn't ask him.
Or maybe every interviewer is like, you know what? They probably always get that question, so I'm not going to do it.
He's like dying to tell the story.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him about falling off stage instead, which is way more appropriate.
That's a good question. You ever been injured on stage? I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Probably gets it a lot, though.
Yeah, I don't know. No.
What is that? Are we done here?
Tasey's getting a call.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
I think that's our cue that we're done here.
I think we are done.
Casey's got more important things to do.
I think we took care of everything. Don't forget to go to bna10.com and get your tickets to, BNA10. It's going to be an amazing show, and you're going to love it, and I'm going to love it, and we're going to see each other there.
Oh, you want me to over your bed? You want me to read some some answers to the Twitter game? Because I said that.
Sure, we got 1 minute.
If you had a band, what kind of music would it play, and what would it be called? UJP.
Okay.
Blobberglop says Disney Jazz, and the band's name would be Meow 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 Meow. HH says it would be called Coviers, and it would play at Being a Real Business. Chris Rogers said the name would be Bleeding Orifice. Bleeding Orifice. He spelled orifice wrong. Style progressive Disney metal, and. Beer Scout says JP's band would be dubstep called Dildo Mold.
Oh, it'd be my band.
Yes,
this is your band, dubstep called Dildo Mold. I think I like that one.
Okay. All right, Beer Scout. Email bevo@thebrewingnetwork.com.
Get a Dildo
You're a
Mold.
winner.
All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. Thanks to our guests, who were there? Kyle and Sue. I appreciate that. That was amazing, man. That was a lot of good
Mitch Steele showed up for a little bit.
And Mitch. Yeah, whatever, Mitch. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
JP